Welcome, everybody, to episode number 26 of the Dragon's Den podcast. My name is Eric Hopkins, a.k.a. Jill. Back after 3 weeks off here on the channel, so I apologize for that, but we'll get into that in just a second. Joined tonight by Mr. and Mrs. Spooby, Brandon on the top left, Miranda on the bottom left, and Aaron, the videoless wonder over here on the bottom right. So,
hey, couldn't think of nothing clever, could you?
No, not really.
Hey,
I gave it my A+ effort after 3 weeks, so yeah. What can you expect? But we're good to be back here for sure, and hopefully we won't have that long of a layoff next time. Part of that's on me. Most of that's actually, I would say about all of it's on me, to be honest with you. Yeah, because a couple weeks back I went camping with some family, which that was planned. Last week was not planned. I ended up having a knee issue. I got gout, so I don't recommend that for anybody.
Gout?
It sucks. Don't ever get that. Trust me, it's not worth it. But it's on the mend, so I'm feeling a little bit better. And now we're on Saturdays, but a little bit of a house cleaning before we get too involved here. Obviously, I put out a post on my Facebook and on the YouTube channel and things like that, talking about how we were going to be moving to Saturdays. Well, not so fast. Apparently, me and Brandon and Aaron all still work at the same place, and they were switching our shifts on us to where we were not going to be able to do the podcast on Fridays, and so we decided to move it to Saturdays. Well, about a week into the shift change, they've decided, well, we're going to go back to the old shift for the time being. So until further notice, the podcast will still remain on Friday, except for this week, obviously, being here on Saturday night. So
I just want to point out something. I'm so glad I don't work there no more.
Well, there are times it definitely tries this, that's for sure. Yeah. But as of right now, Friday nights at 9:30 will still be the time until we say otherwise, and I'll probably make a post about that a little bit later to remind everybody as well. So thank you for your patience in that regard as well. But on a brighter note, we are now, as of right now, for the first time ever, live on Rumble as well. So welcome to anybody who may be watching there as well. Hopefully you guys will follow us over there as well. And we've got our link to our Rumble in the description box below too. And if you're on Rumble watching it and you want to follow us on YouTube, description for that is, or the link to that is in the description as well. You can follow me on X and everything. All of our X accounts are listed here at the bottom of the screen. So, yeah, definitely glad to be back. How's everybody doing? Long week for everybody?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll take Aaron's lack of nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard about Aaron's week yesterday.
Aaron's week was trash.
Yeah, my condolences, my friend. I won't say much more than that, but unless you want to talk about it. But yeah. So
whack, son.
Absolutely. So hope to see you back soon at the job for sure. But take your time, all the time you need for sure. Wednesday.
Yep.
Gotcha. See
me Wednesday.
Right on. Well, hopefully work will treat you well with that situation as well. So hopefully everything will go right there. But got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We got some pro wrestling. We got a little movie news. We've got some college football a little bit. I wanted to talk about something.
I bet you fucking do.
Some NFL. It's kind of a shame Matt's not on the program tonight. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, so we may not see him this evening as well. But we'll have some stuff to talk about, as well as politics to wrap up the show as we always do. We got some fun stuff for that as well. So I guess if you guys want to talk about anything in particular, or you want to just get right into it?
We'll just get right into it.
Get right into it. Well, all right. Well, here we go with the wrestling stuff then. So for those of you who may be just watching this for the first time on Rumble, obviously we got a lot of different interests here on the channel. We like a lot of us here like pro wrestling. A lot of us like movies. I'm probably more the movie guy than anybody here on the channel. I think Aaron is a little bit, Matt, to something. I don't know if you guys really watch a ton of them. The ones that
I watch them when I
stay awake.
No.
Yeah. But I think we still like them. We're obviously into NFL. We have a fantasy football team we like to talk about here on the channel. And of course, we always round out our shows with politics at the end. For those of you who may not enjoy the political side of things, if you want to check out, I totally understand that. But for those of you who are interested in it, especially those of you who follow us on Rumble, you can just stick around or jump toward the end of this video. Usually within the last hour or so, we kind of go over politics as well. So just kind of give you a layout about the way things are going to work here on the show. And of course, you can always see things here on the right side of the screen as well, all the topics that we have going on for you as well. But when it comes to professional wrestling this week, I thought it would be kind of fun, since we've been on for the last 3 weeks. We talk about a few things that's been happening in the world of pro wrestling. And the one big pay-per-view that came out, well, there's a couple of them that we missed, actually. One of them was WWE Bad Blood. And we got at least some returns to the world of pro wrestling. Most importantly, I would say probably Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made an appearance at WWE Bad Blood. as he saw Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, who teamed up together at that pay-per-view against the new Bloodline with Solo Sikoa, as well as we got the return of Jimmy Uso, who'd been on the injured reserve for a while there. So now it looks like this storyline may be starting to coalesce a little bit heading into Survivor Series, and we've been talking about it for months here on the channel about how they're probably going to end up doing a Bloodline versus Bloodline thing.
Yeah.
However, for this show in particular, I thought it was a good ending, but since then, we've not seen The Rock once. So,
I don't know, like,
yeah.
So it's weird, but at the same time, like, I get it. Like that whole thing was very cryptic at the end, where he comes up, he counts to 1, 2, 3, and then he says 4. So I'm assuming it's setting up for Survivor Series. But I don't. I think I get what you're saying about him not being there, but I think that's one of those things. Is like nobody really knows what's going on with him, so you wait
Yeah.
until you figure out now where the story is with Jay and Roman. You know, and Jimmy trying to figure out like how to bring Jay back into the fold or whatever. And then at the end of all that, you bring The Rock back to solidify whether it'll be a 5-man or a 4-man.
Well, when he come out and then we haven't seen him since, it's kind of like in my head now. Again, they're not. I don't know if they're really saying this. I didn't catch SmackDown last night yet. I got to watch it.
I can tell you.
Even though I do know one person who showed up, which is going to kind of further the storyline. But when The Rock kind of hasn't showed up since, it kind of in my head is kind of like he's just the observer right now. He's watching everything that's going on from the shadows to a degree.
Yeah, I see.
I kind of like that, to where it's like, all right, you two are teaming up. Interesting development. Just know I got my eye on this, you know, and when I come back, I want to deal with this. So I think he was in town in Georgia. I think is where the pay-per-view was. I think it might have been for a football game thing. I'm not positive on that. But either way, I heard he was in town, and that's why he dropped by. So good for him to just show up when he is in town. I think that's a big thing to kind of help with the storyline too. Because again, just kind of plant that seeds for what we may be getting later down the line. But I think that's going to be great. Now, I did want to ask Brandon this hypothetical though when it comes to this. A lot of people thinking, myself included, I think this is the way they're going to go. Possibly Royal Rumble in Indianapolis, which I'm hoping to get my tickets for by November. If you guys want to go, I'm probably going to need your money from you before tickets go on sale. But if you don't, I totally understand that too. Me, Digger, and I think Chris are going to go. But anyway, Cody versus Rock, I think could be the main event for the WWE title at Royal Rumble, because they've definitely set that up in previous months. And I think the main event for WrestleMania will obviously be the long-awaited Rock versus Roman Reigns that they wanted to do last year, but didn't end up doing because they had to finish Cody's story. However, there is a rumor going around that it could be Rock, Roman, and Cody in a triple threat match. What would be your thoughts on that if that was the case, or would you rather see these three guys, I guess, do singles matches with The Rock? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I guess the triple threat would make sense. So then, do you hold? Then I wouldn't involve Rock in Survivor Series.
Okay.
I would just do, what is it? Solo, Tamatonga Tangaloa, and Jacob. That's still 4. And do Rock, or not Rock, I'm sorry. Roman, Jimmy, Jay. And either if they bring Hikuleo or
Sami Zayn.
Or Sami Zayn.
That's to me anyway.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm saying if they don't bring in another Samoan, it'll be Sami Zayn. If they do a 5v5, then
fourth on. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It's Tamatonga, Tongaloa, and yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If they do 5, then they'll probably bring in either Lance or Hikuleo, whatever. And Sammy. But
yeah, I mean, if you do 5-on-5, you could add Rock to Solo's crew, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you do I know there was that rumor going around of Rock having his own bloodline. You'd have to bring in like 3 guys in that case.
Yeah.
With Rock, which is going to feel a little awkward since we don't know any of them guys on the main level yet on the WWE level. So yeah, it would probably be either 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 in my opinion. But just depends on what The Rock can do at this point. From the sounds of things, it's going to be his schedule is going to dictate a lot of this. There was this rumor I know going around. I think Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer stated that The Rock was not going to be able to make WrestleMania 41, and of course, The Rock got online on X and basically said that was bullshit. He said, "Don't read that crap." So I don't know, what's going to happen there, but it sounds like Rock's. I mean, you're not going to build all this if you're not going to get Rock at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I mean that just sounds ridiculous.
No, I think if
Um,
nothing else, he'll be at WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know, that's between Survivor Series and everything else. I don't I don't necessarily say you need him for any of those,
mhm.
but WrestleMania for sure.
Yeah, and the Rumble, if you wanted to set the stage for
The
WrestleMania and
Rumble,
stuff like
the
that.
Rumble could set the plate for it.
Mhm,
You know, have him intervene in the match, so there's no clear winner at all. There's no real resolution there,
mhm.
and then
Yeah.
have that resolution be at WrestleMania. I
Yeah.
have another question
Mhm.
about another star.
Okay.
So, with the news with the whole Lesnar thing
Mhm.
and the way they're going with Gunther, do you think they'd set that up?
I know that was what they wanted to do, I think, at last year's or this year's WrestleMania, but obviously the whole
Yeah.
lawsuit thing got in the way of that. So I've been hearing reports that WWE really has no interest in bringing WWE or Now they're not going to sit there and say that
Yeah.
they're bringing him back if they want it to be a surprise. So, but at the same time, I totally understand if they decide to hold off on Lesnar because of all
Hmm.
this stuff, especially with the allegations and the investigation into all the Vince McMahon stuff and Janelle Grant, I think was her name. So yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, would the match be fun for me to watch? Sure. I would rather watch that than one of the other guys who returned, which is a nice little segue. Uh,
Yeah.
there was a
That one, I never understand that one.
Yeah, this one happened at WWE Bad Blood 2.
Yeah.
Triple H was in the ring with Gunther, the aforementioned Gunther, and they were setting up this first ever Crown Jewel champion versus champion at Crown Jewel every year, which I don't mind that concept, having the WWE champion and the world champion for the men and the women wrestle each other at Crown Jewel to be an
Hmm.
annual thing. I don't mind that concept. But much like AEW gets criticism for just having too many belts, this belt just seems like something for the Crown Prince over there in Jeddah, Saudi
I mean,
Arabia.
that's what it is.
And it's not going to ever be defended anywhere else. It's just going to be something for someone to carry around when they go to Jeddah or whatever. So in a
Hmm.
way, I feel like that's kind of ridiculous. But while they were promoting that, obviously Gunther was in the ring with the new title belt and stuff, and Goldberg just happened to be sitting at ringside at Bad Blood. And of course, Gunther laid the seeds for this a week or so ago when he was, well, a few weeks now, when he was talking to Bret Hart, saying that Goldberg was his favorite wrestler when he was a kid. Not, of course, that
Hmm.
was also a jab at Bret Hart because Bret Hart blames Goldberg for ending his career.
Hmm.
So it's a whole thing, but at the same time, I don't want to see Bill Goldberg in the ring again. I don't. I mean, he almost killed Undertaker last time.
Yeah.
The last few times he was in the
That
ring.
match
So
was garbage.
yeah, it was,
Mm.
it was like Shawn Michaels and Hunter's match at Crown Jewel one year, whatever. It was just bad.
Oh yeah.
Which they both will tell you it was bad. And Undertaker probably tell you that match with Goldberg was bad. But I mean, yeah, I just don't think I need to see. I thought maybe this was going to be the match at Saudi Arabia, and Gunther was going to drop the title to Sami Zayn or something, and it was going to be
Hmm.
Sami versus Cody. Well, that didn't end up happening, which I think is the right call for Gunther to hold on to the belt. But now, what do you do with Goldberg? Was that just a one-off appearance, or do you think we are getting a Goldberg versus Gunther match?
I think we are getting a Goldberg versus Gunther. Like, I don't know when exactly, but that's probably what's gonna happen.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not going to be down for that, but at the
Mm.
same time, everybody, and I've heard reports that Hunter doesn't like to bring back legends like this, but this is a very Vince McMahon move.
Yeah,
This is what he would
but
have done
this is also Saudi Arabia. They're it's a
if it
shit
is at
ton of.
Saudi Arabia, though. You know,
Oh yeah, it's not gonna be at Saudi Arabia.
yeah, I mean
Oh
that's what I thought, but it wasn't end up being the case.
yeah.
So, yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do, but we'll have to wait and see. But Gunther versus Goldberg is not something I'm looking forward to. However, there
Let's
was,
just let's
yeah, go
just
ahead.
hope he picks somebody to be his proxy.
Yeah, that'd be nice. To kind of do the.
Like, I'm too old,
Yeah, maybe
but
his son's not old enough, is he?
no, I don't think
Okay,
so.
I didn't think he was. I think he was a little too on the young side, but still, yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they do. But I was like, when I saw that, I cringed really badly for sure. We also got the return of Raquel Gonzalez. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, Raquel Rodriguez. I think did she go by Gonzalez in NXT? Possibly.
No, she went by Rodriguez in
Is she?
NXT.
Well, my bad. Anyway, she aligned herself with Liv Morgan and Dom Mysterio, helping them help Liv retain her Women's World Championship over Rhea Ripley. So a little bit of a muscle there for Liv Morgan as well,
Hmm.
and obviously she's probably going to be seen more as a muscle for Dom as well at this
Yeah.
point. But again, just some more superstars that are returning for WWE, so I think that will help things kind of freshen up a little bit as well. On top of that, we also got a debut of sorts.
Oh
The
shit. Yeah, I seen that
the Motor
outcome.
City Machine Guns returned while they debuted on SmackDown. A lot
Hmm.
of people thought they were going to go to AEW. Did not end up being the case. They ended up signing a deal with WWE, and they debuted on SmackDown. and they immediately got thrust into the WWE championship or the tag team championship picture
That
here.
is going to be a crazy
Yeah,
fucking match.
they won a triple threat match to earn this opportunity against DIY for the WWE Tag Team Championships on next week's SmackDown on Friday night, which will be a great match, no doubt about that. But do you have a problem? I know a lot of people said that when Mercedes Moné came into AEW, didn't have to do anything, and she just got thrust right into the title picture. Is that criticism? Should it be directed at WWE the same way, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand it, but this is the same thing with like you're bringing in guys who it's not like nobody knows who the hell they are.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Everybody knows who they are. It's the same thing with Mercedes. Mercedes was one of the biggest signings, you know what I mean, acquisitions that you could get at the time.
Mhm.
So they come in and they're treated like $1,000,000. It is what it is. They're going against arguably again two of the best guys to wrestle against in WWE in Gargano and Ciampa.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I see that. I don't now whether they win it, maybe not. I think it's far past time we give DIY a real title run with those tag titles.
I'd be down for that.
And
Sure.
and from the looks of it, they're setting up something with the Street Profits, which would be fucking great too.
Mhm.
I'm hoping this gets turned into maybe a triple threat match because if you didn't see it, so I'm not gonna tell you what
That's
plays
fine.
out on SmackDown.
Mhm. Okay.
But yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think this could be a great match. Like I said, good to see Motor City Machine Guns, no matter where they ended up.
mhm,
I mean, they could have fit well in AEW, but I think they'll fit just as fine in WWE. That's some great matches, some of the tag teams I got over there as well. I,
mhm,
but again, if they give them the titles right off the jump, that's one way to debut them. I don't necessarily have a problem with it, like a lot of people did when Mercedes Moné did it. Obviously,
mhm.
she's got the track record to kind of back up her career, so I didn't have a problem with it. But I'm just saying, if you're going to, criticize it one way, you need to criticize it the
Yeah.
other way. Just be fair here. But at the same time, I'm glad to see them on SmackDown. Hope for the best for them, and hope things will go well. As for AEW on that side of things, they did just recently sign a big television deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. The deal is close to $185 million annual average. Both sides say they didn't provide the $150 million number to Variety that was reported. Both Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW sources had no knowledge of any equity situation, and Rip said they'd never breached about that. Dynamite Collision will now air in their normal time slots and days, and also be streamed on Max at the same time. This was an important factor for both sides in the deal, as well as Dynamite Collision and Rampage. Replays will be in the library of footage available on Max as well. Pay-per-views will be on Max on top of all this, but unlike WWE and Peacock, pay-per-views on Max for AEW will be at a discounted price. They won't be included with the price of subscription, which I was a bit bummed out by, really.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's kind of shady there. I was like, all
yeah,
right,
like it's like I'm already paying for the service.
yeah. I mean, I guess you could argue, but here's the thing. I think Max is like $15 or something like that. So let's
Mhm.
say the pay-per-view is like discounted to 35. You're still paying the $50 for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, crap. So I'm hoping it's a stepping stone to eventually you just get them free with the subscription like you
Mhm.
do with WWE and Peacock. Well, time will tell on that. And it looks like Rampage will not be featured on Warner Brothers Discovery in 2025. So I don't know if that necessarily means that Rampage is getting canceled or what that entails. We also know that they're negotiating, I think, with maybe a Fox affiliate to possibly bring a show called AEW, I think Shockwave. So that may be replacing Rampage. I'm not positive yet. We don't know, have a whole lot of
Mm.
news on it, but yeah, at least when it comes to a financial standpoint, this is a win for AEW, no doubt. 5 years into their run, they're making big money,
Mhm.
but obviously they're still going to have their critics out there, and there's certain things that they should be criticized for. But in that regard, I think it's a good thing for them to at least finally get this deal done. They also had a pay-per-view, Wrestle Dream. What was it, last week or the week before? I think it was last week.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. Yeah. And we had the final curtain call on Bryan Danielson's full-time career, so to speak, as Jon Moxley became the new AEW World Champion, his fourth reign, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So a lot of people were kind of criticizing that. Like, why are you putting the title back on Jon Moxley? Well, the reports are stating that they originally wanted to put the title on Darby Allin because he had won the title opportunity at Wrestle Dream, but then they shifted to Jon Moxley, I think, in hopes of kind of creating some interest and jumpstart interest in the promotion since it's kind of lagging a little bit right now. So
Mhm.
they decided to do that. They ended up killing off the Daniel Bryan character, or Bryan Danielson character, a little bit with Wheeler Yuta, who reluctantly put the bag over his head once again as he was destroyed by the BCC. Now, the real life story behind this is Bryan Danielson's MRI showed that he was showing a lot of damage on his neck all the way down his neck. So he's going to be requiring neck surgery sooner rather than later.
Mm.
So in that regard, I think this is probably a right thing for just his life in general. But that
Mhm.
does open up a bit of a vacuum, so to speak, for some new talent to kind of come up and take the reins and challenge John Moxley for the title. Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia, and Hook were all strategically placed, I think, toward the end of that show at the final shot to kind of give you this look of like, hey, this could be the future of the company. We're going to be out now to avenge AEW and Bryan Danielson in general under this new John Moxley dictatorship, as it were, here in AEW, as he's trying to overthrow the power structure there. So we've seen that kind of invasion angle many times before. I'm hoping it'll actually go well. A lot of people are speculating it could lead to a Shane McMahon reveal. There's also reports out there that is not going to involve Shane McMahon at all. So we'll just have to wait and see. But
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on the career of Bryan Danielson, and obviously, where this could be leading with some of the new younger talent possibly getting a push as we go into the future here?
Sad to see him retire, but it's the best thing for him.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I mean, he's seen it, done it, been there, done it. So it's sad to see somebody like that go, but at the same time, like his health is what's more important. We always knew it wasn't gonna be long term after he couldn't wrestle for a while anyway with this injury. Him coming back was a surprise. We got to enjoy it for the time we got to enjoy it. It's time
3
for him to
years.
enjoy. Yeah, it's time for him to enjoy his retirement.
Yeah, and I think
Being at home with his girls and
oh yeah. Well, which he promised anyway to her. I do think that eventually he probably will, if he's medically able to. Well, that's obviously first and foremost. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he has a few matches here and there. Just surprise
Mhm.
things at pay-per-views and stuff with some dream opponents that may come up. I can definitely see that, but it may not be the complete end. Obviously, the crowd there in was it Washington? It was the state of Washington where they had the pay-per-view, which is obviously his home state as well. They were stunned when this happened. They obviously expected a win out of him here. But at the same time, sometimes in pro wrestling, it's good for the heels to get the win. It's like watching Infinity War when Thanos won. You want to see that guy get taken out now. So now John Moxley is the biggest heel in AEW. So you want to see whoever knocks him off become the next superstar. So technically, even though the
Mhm.
plan originally was for Darby Allin to defeat Bryan Danielson, him now possibly being the one to retake the title off John Moxley would make a superstar out of Darby Allin, more
Mhm.
so than he already is popular. So I think this could be a good thing in the long run, but for now, we'll just have to wait and see what they do. So,
Yep.
on top of that, Wrestle Dream also had a couple other returns. AEW seems to be getting a little bit more healthy now outside of Bryan Danielson's situation. Daniel Garcia returned as well. Looks like he is possibly maybe even signed a new deal, as well as MJF returned from his movie filming escapades. And then we got the return from about a year off of Adam Cole. He is now back in AEW, fully healthy, and it looks like him and MJF are finally going to pay off the feud that they had toward the end of last year when they broke up. And of course, a lot of people got a little, critical of AEW about, well, why is Adam Cole coming back as a babyface? He was a heel when he got injured. Well, so was Roman Reigns when he left at WrestleMania too, and now he's back a babyface.
Yeah.
So it just happens when you take time off in pro wrestling. You're not going to get booed when you come back. So the smart thing to do is to maybe reverse this role, and I think it's going to play off well. So hopefully Adam Cole can stay healthy for once. Had all those head injuries, and then he shattered his ankle. So
Mm.
and in a way, I think the shattering of his ankle might have been a good thing for him in the long run because it might have helped him heal a little bit more from those multiple concussions and things he had.
Mhm.
So it might have been a blessing in disguise. So, but either way, it's good to see them getting kind of healthy, and they've also been dropping a lot of hints on television about possibly the return of Kenny Omega as well. So and obviously there are reports out there right now. This came from Kota Ibushi himself. He said that Kenny Omega is set to return to AEW in the next 2 to 3 months. So the fact that they've been name dropping him and subtle teases with the Young Bucks and Okada and the Elite, they're definitely playing up the fact that he could be coming back sooner rather than later. So good to see everybody get a little bit more healthy outside of Danielson. We wish the best for him, no doubt about that. So any other thoughts on pro wrestling? Are have you been watching
No.
everything and
I've been
keeping up?
catching up with certain stuff. Like I haven't been watching it as much because it's football. So
Oh, I know, right? It's hard to keep up with everything too, because pro wrestling is just so much. I
mhm.
mean, you literally you can watch wrestling every single night of the week if you
Yeah.
really want to. I mean,
And they're starting to. I think isn't WWE bringing back Saturday night?
at least I think at least for one event at the end of the year, yeah. I'm
Mhm.
not sure if it's a permanent thing, but I wouldn't be surprised because it would compete with Collision.
I think
So yeah,
I think it'd be best to like if Raw and SmackDown stays at 2 hours, NXT's only an hour, and if you did do Saturday nights, only do it an hour.
yeah, I mean, fun. I mean, the
Like
Rampage thing isn't going the greatest on Friday nights, but
if
doesn't
you
mean a 1 hour show couldn't work.
if you treat Saturday nights like you do NXT, I think it'll work just fine. Smaller venue, have the crowd. You know how you know how NXT looks like, and
Yeah.
I've seen it before. Even when we first started watching, NXT always felt like a indie show, like appearance wise, the way it was shot, the lighting, and all that. And to me, that's why it was so visually appealing, and the wrestling was what it was because it was like it felt like an indie show. Like they were all there and they all were trying to prove or earn their spot on the main two shows.
Yeah.
And I think if you do Saturday nights like that, but I think if you do Saturday nights, if you could do a healthy mix between NXT stars and your regular main roster stars to help give the NXT guys even more exposure, you win.
They've been doing a little bit of that as well. I think Randy Orton was on there, if I'm not mistaken, like
Yeah.
last week or two. And if I'm not mistaken, I think NXT might even be on the road now. I'm not positive
Yeah,
about that.
they've been
At least they were for
going
pay-per-views.
around. Yeah.
So that's a good thing for them too. I need to start watching that a little bit more as well. But again, just so much to watch. Sometimes I use Tuesday to catch up Monday night because Monday night I like watching Monday Night Football, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So at least that'll be a good thing about going back to our old shift. I can watch football and wrestling live again.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, more to come on that for sure. All right, well, I guess let's move into the next topics here, which involves movie and television news. So let's check that out. Okay, a couple DC related topics I thought we'd talk about this week, because I know Brandon's definitely going to probably enjoy talking about one of these, I think. Now I just set off my Google. Anyway, it was
Brother.
my Google Assist came. Anyhow, so yeah, we had a little bit of news from the world of the DCU. Obviously, I think there's a New York Comic Con going on this weekend. It may be over now, but it was going on this weekend, and we had a little bit of a few things come out about that. Something that's come out this week. Oh, what about Boo? You a Marvel guy? What? Seriously?
No, about the New York Comic Con.
Oh, what's wrong with New York Comic Con? Too many people?
That's another story for another time.
Fair enough. But apparently this week we got our first look at Crypto in the upcoming Superman film that's going to be coming out in 2025, directed by James Gunn. This is a motion poster, or whatever you want to call it, that was released on his X account and all of his social medias. And he writes that Crypto arrives on the screens as Superman this summer. Crypto was inspired by our dog Ozu, who we adopted shortly after I started writing Superman. Ozu, who came from a hoarding situation in a backyard with 60 other dogs and never knew human beings, was problematic to say the least. He immediately came in and destroyed our home, our shoes, our furniture, and he even ate my laptop. It took a long time. It took a long time before he could even let us touch him. I remember thinking, gosh, how difficult would life be if Ozu had superpowers? And thus Crypto came into the script and changed the shape of the story as Ozu was changing my life. What better time to debut the not so good boy Crypto than Adopt a Shelter Dog Month? By the way, Ozu today is fairly often a very, very good boy. That's a picture of him with Ozu, James Gunn, the director.
Ozu looks like he's about to bite his lips. I'm just throwing it out there.
Definitely looks a little crazy for sure. Obviously, the motion picture there is taking inspiration from the comic book here on Sitting on the Moon, Looking at Earth as well with Crypto. So yeah, definitely the homage. Like I said, James Gunn knows his comic books, and I think he wants to do things right, and definitely pay homage to those stories.
How are we gonna give Crypto his power, so to speak? Like, because I mean, there's one incident where like Crypto was actually in the pod with Superman, so we're gonna tell that to where like they got separated at some point.
I mean that I think that might be the case, because when this picture or this motion graphic or whatever you want to call it came out with Crypto, obviously you can't see the dog's face, but everybody started, like they have been so far with this film, have just started complaining. This film is taking so many critical barbs, as it were, since it was announced. Part of it's due to the Snyder fans who want to see Henry Cavill come back to the role. Well, unfortunately, they're moving forward. And one of the criticisms, to Brandon's credit, that they talked about here, a lot of people were saying, well, that doesn't look like Crypto. And this guy pointed out on X, he said, not to be that guy, but isn't Crypto supposed to be something akin to a Labrador or something similar? I'll still watch it. I'll probably still love the fact that he's in the movie to begin with, but I noticed this right off the bat. Well, James Gunn responded, and he said, no, Crypto is historically a generic white dog, sometimes also a Labrador, a white shepherd, a husky, or a Dalmatian. But obviously, here's Brandon's question, he's an alien. So he wouldn't necessarily be exactly any one of these things. So it sounds like it's not going to be like a dog on Earth who gets powers. Sounds like it's going to be something that possibly comes from Krypton.
Yes, but
So,
how?
I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's in a pop. Maybe he's in Supergirl's pod because we are getting a Supergirl movie too in 2026. So maybe there's some connection there. That's always a possibility. That film has also now been reported to be filming in early 2025, Supergirl. So that'll be coming as well to the DCU. But obviously, you know, everybody's like, well, what about the dog? It doesn't look like Crypto. Well, this is a picture of Crypto from the comics, one of the versions of Crypto. So that looks exactly like the picture we saw from this movie. So in that regard, fans just need to chill out. Now, I understand to a degree because a lot of other versions of Crypto have looked definitely different here. Obviously, more of a Labrador type thing. Heck, the one from Smallville there in the top right is not even white.
No.
So it's like, you know, I mean, I just think fans want to nitpick a little bit right now.
That's all it is.
And here's the thing, too. James Gunn is known for many animal characters in his movies that we've fallen in love with over the years. From Scooby-Doo to Rocket Raccoon to, you know, oh, what's the shark's name? King Shark?
King Shark, yeah.
Voiced by Sylvester
He did
Stallone.
Scooby-Doo?
Huh?
He did Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, he did the live-action Scooby-Doo, or at least he wrote them. I don't think he directed them, but yeah. So, yeah, he was a big hand in that, too.
Cool.
Yeah. And of course, Crypto, and of course, who could forget the ever lovable Eagly from Peacemaker? I mean, everybody loves Eagly. I mean, he's outstanding. And then, of course, from the Guardians of the Galaxy films, he had, you know, Cosmo. So I mean, and then of course,
Cosmo looked high as hell.
It might have been. And then, of course, we had, you know, even Ratcatcher, who had the rat in Suicide Squad as well with King Shark. So he's known for making animal characters, you know, to be loved by audiences. So the fact that fans are just criticizing Crypto here just seems a little out of place, if you ask me, because he's got a track record of making it work. Everybody's like, well, it's just going to be too comedy. That's all James Gunn could do. But he's also, did you not watch the Guardians of the Galaxy movies? I mean, there were also very serious moments in those movies as well.
Yeah.
So, and then, not to mention, this is a comic book. Superman's not supposed to be uber dour like Henry Cavill's version, where he never smiled, never cracked jokes until, well, they did a little later once, you know, they got criticism. But he's supposed to be a hopeful, optimist. Thank you, optimistic character. So I'm hoping that this will bring a little bit more light to the DC universe. So, but yeah, I just thought it was something worth mentioning because obviously Crypto, I think it could be great, depending on how you do it, as long as it's not overly. And there's also rumors that we might even get, you know, like the squirrel, the Green Lantern.
Oh, Chip.
Yeah, there was also some, you know, set photos and stuff like that. So we may get multiple animals in it. Not to mention the chapter 1 of the DCU is entitled Gods and Monsters. There would be certain characters that are not human. I mean, the DC universe is never just filled with just like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. There's been multiple different characters throughout its tenure. So I think everybody just needs to calm down. I'm highly looking forward to Superman. Are you guys looking forward to it?
I am. I'll watch it.
I honestly am. Mainly because, like, just with my history, whenever critics and stuff generally hate a movie, I generally end up liking it and thinking it was pretty great.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's critics just yet, but I see what you're saying. It's more like just fans being uber nitpicky. But they did the same thing. How could the guy from Brokeback Mountain be Joker? Well, guess how well that turned out. I mean, it's
that was pretty
cool. I mean, it's fine. And not and to this day, Heath Ledger is considered the greatest Joker of all time. So, yeah, I mean, just everybody needs to chill. But yeah, but when it comes to DC, we had another bit of new movie news, or actually television news in this case. We now have the official cast for Lanterns. So I figured this might interest Brandon here. Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart have officially been cast, as well as Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner was obviously going to make an appearance in Superman as well to kind of kick off this whole thing, the interconnectivity of it all. And we now know it is going to be Nathan Fillion playing Guy Gardner, Kyle Chandler will be playing Hal Jordan, and Aaron Pierre will be the man who takes over for Jon Stewart. So we now have 3 of the major Green Lanterns officially cast in the new DCU. So I don't know if Brandon knows a lot of these actors. I mean, I think he knows Nathan Fillion.
I know 2 of them. I don't know who's playing Jon Stewart.
Okay, Aaron Pierre. Well, the only thing I've heard that he's in that I've not really seen, I need to check out, is a show called Rebel Ridge on Netflix. Apparently, it's very popular, and I think he might be one of the leads, if not the lead of the show. So sounds like he's kind of an up-and-comer. But everybody needs to remember this, too. Even though we're getting some unknown names, like David Corn sweats Superman, the MCU started out that way too. A lot of people knew who Robert Downey Jr. was because of his, run-ins with the law and things like. And he had a bit of a career already, but like Chris Hemsworth, nobody knew. Very few. I mean, Tom Hiddleston, Chris Evans had a few roles here and there, but outside of Sam Jackson, a lot of those people had no careers either. So I think this is a smart route to go to kind of give everybody something fresh. But yeah, I think all these guys look the part. Now, obviously, I know Brandon had a little criticisms of the Green Lantern outfit in Superman. We went over that a few months back. And that is a critique that Superman's getting right now, some of the costume designs. But I think it's one of those things, too. I want to see a trailer, which I'm hearing we may actually get our first sneak peek at this maybe come December. So if that's the case, we might get an early look at Superman by then. But this show, Lanterns, I think is supposed to be filming in 2025 for a 2026 release date on Max. So sounds like we're be getting that as well. But yeah, I think Aaron Pierre looks the part. Kyle Chandler, obviously, he's been in a multitude of things from Wolf of Wall Street, many others. So I think he's going to be a good character. Now, the one thing about Kyle Chandler, though, is his contract for the role of Hal Jordan does not include a movie component, which tells me he could be getting killed off in Lanterns, which the plot of Lanterns is supposed to be something along the lines of, a reluctant Hal Jordan trains a young up-and-coming John Stewart, and they go on a mystery chase here in America, here on Earth, and whatever they find, the mystery is going to then tie into a larger part of the story in the overall DCU, kind of like the Infinity Stones, Marvel. So at least it's making it important to the overall DCU from the jump. But the fact that he's not got a movie in his contract deal makes me kind of wonder if Hal Jordan ain't going to last too long in this universe. But
probably not.
But at the same time, he doesn't have to. I mean,
no.
What would, since you're the Green Lantern fan,
you don't need that many because it's literally like one Guardian per, you know what I mean? And like, and it's different, obviously, it's different realities and alternate universes and shit. So like, no, it's Hal Jordan, he can he doesn't really die. There's something that happens and he gets stuck in a lantern for a little bit. It's weird, but no, he doesn't need to be there.
Okay. Well, I just know for me, I mean, okay.
That none of the three lanterns from Earth were actual protectors of Earth. They were assigned different galaxies.
I know that. So you're sectors, I think.
Sectors.
Yeah.
And like, but your primary would be your planet, but then like you're in charge of that entire sector.
Yeah. Like it would be like our solar system or something.
Yeah.
Like that, nearby, planets and things. But I thought I've read somewhere too that they're like Earth, like our universe was so big that we might have had multiple lanterns controlling in the same sector. I don't know. But there's a lot of Green Lantern lore I'm not as up on outside of the Ryan Reynolds movie, which I don't know if that's the best, barometer there anyway, but
let's not talk about that one.
I didn't hate that movie outside of the horrible space cloud. That was terrible.
You should have. Hated it.
Hey, at least he made it either.
I did.
At least he met Blake Lively on that movie, so something good came out of it.
Angry watching that movie.
I hate watching. But yeah, I mean, as long as Hal Jordan is at least in the universe at some point, I think that's important.
Yeah.
But whether or not he lasts, I mean, maybe he just shows up in a season 2. Maybe he's just not going to be in the overall crossovers, Justice League and things like. Maybe that's the thing too. Maybe that'll be more John Stewart. So yeah, and I'm sure Aaron Pierre is probably cheaper to pay for right now since he's not a well-known name yet. So that makes a lot of sense contractually. So we'll just have to wait and see where this goes. But I'm excited for it, and I'm definitely looking forward to the DC. This is the current DCU so far. So
I hope it's a pass the torch type thing, not that he gets killed off. Just so that leaves it open for maybe something in the future,
I don't think y'all understand how this power shit works with these rings.
Yeah, it's a little new to me still, but this is why I'm looking forward to because I want to learn
more.
Just
don't be like, yo, I'm going out for the Green Lantern Squad. No.
No, you got to be chosen.
Change sectors. I'm just saying that maybe we're like, okay, we need your skills, your veteran skills in this new sector.
Man, the ring chooses its wearer. Okay.
Yeah. I did know that.
God, get it together.
God, get it together. But yeah.
Wait, are these the up and coming suits, or are these just?
Well, some of these are fan designed, but this is supposed to be. These are the characters that are confirmed to be in the DCU right now.
Booster Gold, no shot.
Yeah. Now that's got Kumail Nanjiani. I think that's how you say his name.
Kumail Nanjiani.
I don't know if he's been officially confirmed to be Booster Gold just yet, but most of these actors' faces and stuff are confirmed to be the roles. But yeah, most of these characters will appear in Superman. Peacemaker won't. Blue Beetle may not, but the rest of the characters could very well appear in Superman next year. So this is a good starting off point, if you ask me, to have all these characters already established, and you're going to build upon this. Obviously, we're getting Batman, we're getting Wonder Woman, we're probably going to get Flash, we're probably going to get Aquaman at some point. But as of right now, this is where we're starting. And I think that's a good start because I know Hawk Girl, Superman, and the Green Lantern, probably in this case John Stewart, were one of the founding members of the Justice League in a lot of iterations. So we'll see where they go with it. But yeah, this is what it could potentially look like coming up in the next few years. If that's the case, I'm liking where they're going so far, and we're getting some more as well as we move along here. But yeah, thoughts on this lineup? Anything about that?
I like it.
John Stewart.
Flash.
One at a time.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah,
I wonder what they're going to do with Flash.
I don't know. And a lot of that I think a lot of it with Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, and obviously the ones we've seen in recent memory in Justice League is kind of like, well, okay, let's give them a break. Obviously Batman's probably going to be the first one on the list to make his appearance. But I think a lot of us just want to get away from the old Justice League stuff we just got through with the DCEU. I think they want Superman. Obviously, you kind of got to start there because Superman is the apex when it comes to DC. So I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think eventually, I don't know what they're going to do though. It's probably going to be something similar. I know there's a lot of rumors that the guy who played him on television might come in, Grant Gustin, but I don't know if I need to see that. He's been doing that for almost a decade anyway. You probably don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, fresh start could be great for sure. But yeah, I expect to see him sooner rather than later. But yeah, we'll find out as this all. I think there's the series Creature Commandos, the animated show, comes out in December. That'll be our first official kickoff for DCU, and then Superman coming up next summer, as well as Peacemaker 2, I think is almost wrapped filming if they haven't already too. So that'll be coming out in 2025. So a few things to look forward to when it comes to DC there. So any other thoughts when it comes to movies and stuff like that?
No.
Anything you're looking forward to?
Waiting to get back into the groove of movies and shows.
Yeah. And it's hard to because everything with, I know we've talked about how they want to inject politics into stuff, and it's hard to find money to go to a movie right now anyway. It's like, if things would just get a little easier on all of us, I think it would actually help the industry. It really would.
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully that will end up happening. All right, well, let's move on to the sports-related section of this show. We've got a little, I want to play the NFL transition, but I got a little college I wanted to talk about. Let's get into that. I'm not a huge college guy in general, but something that's been happening locally for us.
Not for you. Don't say us. Don't do that.
Well, you still live in the area, kind of. You're about a half hour away, but for the state of Indiana, this is a big deal. The Indiana Hoosiers, and particularly their football team, is now 7-0, which is the first time that's happened since like 1967. So this is a huge deal just because in my lifetime, this has never happened. And for the most part, I know for me personally, when they announced that the Big Ten was going to be expanding with Oregon and USC and UCLA coming into this conference or whatever, is it conference division, whatever they call it. It was never going, in my mind, IU was never going to be able to compete, was never going to contend. And here we are, like, I think it's the first year, and they are undefeated. And potentially, they were talking during the game today against Nebraska, where Indiana won 56-7. They were talking during this game that the Hoosiers are potentially in a position, crazily enough, to vie for a college playoff berth. Would you have ever thought that living in this area in recent memory? No.
The whole time I've been here, they've been ass.
This is unheard of for Bloomington. And the surrounding areas, Southern Indiana in general. I mean, IU Bloomington is known for its basketball club. Obviously, it's a basketball town. But this is, I mean, Coach Signetti has come in here and he's made a statement, for sure. I mean, going into the weekend, now I don't know how the rest of the games went today on Saturday, but coming into the weekend, IU was one of only 11 teams to be undefeated in the nation. So I know it sounds like it's like I'm going, I'm really high on this, but it's like, this is a big deal for people in this area. It just really is. I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, to be 7-0, I mean, they're usually like, they might win the first 2 or 3 games because, their opponents are garbage. They blew them out, and now they're blowing out good teams. It's like, It's stunning. It really is. It's stunning, and I'm happy to see it. And coming up here in the next few weeks, here is the schedule that IU football has to deal with for the rest of the season. Looking at this, and not to mention, Indiana is ranked number 16th in the nation as of this weekend. Now that may change; they may move up next week. The only team on here that looks, based on rankings, would give them a problem is Ohio State, which is Brandon's team.
You damn right that's gonna give them a problem. Like, what are we talking about here?
But other than that, Indiana.
That's just Eric being nice.
Well, this is why I wish Matt was here tonight.
Going down.
Matt was in the chat of our podcast here, and he was talking about how IU was going to smoke Ohio State. I told him to calm down because he's going to jinx it.
Calm down.
But because again, this is the first time. This is the first year this has happened. So I don't want to ruin it. But I mean, I'm not going to lie though. There is a legit chance IU could beat Ohio State. They have been close in years past to putting up a fight with Ohio State, but they never really been able to get over that hump. I couldn't tell you the last time they beat Ohio State, but I'm just saying there's a legit shot here. IU may go undefeated if they now. Granted, their quarterback got a little dinged up. His throwing hand, hit another player's arm as he was falling through on a pass earlier. So that may be an issue. We'll have to see how that goes. But the backup came in and they didn't even miss a beat.
No, and like Nebraska's not a bad team. Nebraska winning that game. They were 5-1.
Yeah. And did you see what the stat was? That Nebraska all season long has not given up a single rushing touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
They gave up 5 to IU.
Yep.
So I'm just saying this team appears on paper out of nowhere appears to be legit.
So I seen, I seen and listened to, I think it was it was sometime last week. I can't remember if it was like Thursday or Wednesday, but Pat McAfee had Coach Signetti on his show, and they were talking and stuff. And Signetti apparently brought some of the guys from LSU or US, wherever he was at before he came to IU. Some of those guys hit the portal and came also. Now, Signetti is a hell of a coach. One of his lines was when somebody asked him, how he could help this IU team. He was just kind of Google me. I win.
I like the confidence. Well, I mean, it's clearly warranted.
But his record shows. I mean, it was like 125 wins, like 35 losses.
Oh,
who's going to argue with that?
You can't. I mean,
so he goes, Google me, I win. Well, he ain't lying.
That's insane. And not only that, I don't know how long it's been, but I think it's maybe the first official sellout of Memorial Stadium in Bloomington in forever.
It's because, I mean, I guess people don't realize like how something like this impacts an area,
especially a smaller town like this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's it's a college town, but it's still kind of small.
To where like there's real pride here, like there was a crap ton of people like out and about.
I believe the official count was 53,082 in attendance, the fourth highest in program history.
You got a reason to be there now. These games aren't something you want to miss. It's like if you can go to a home game, go. Because
it also helped that this was homecoming weekend, but at the same time, I mean, if you ever been one of these IU games, like you see the bleachers full here, but it's not unheard of for like an entire quarter or half of the stadium to be empty.
Oh, I mean, on the one time we went, it was obviously the stadium was split in half because it was like Ohio State was on one side and then IU was on the other. And it was there was a lot of areas that were just blank seats. But this season, bro, they put it together, and once they started, people probably were like, for the first 2, I would even say 3 wins, like, okay, yeah, we were supposed to win those games. But then when they went up against a team that it was like, we're not going to beat them. Not only did you beat them, not only they've been winning, they've been blowing teams out.
Yeah. I mean, I watched today's game against Nebraska, and it was like watching somebody who's an expert on Madden play on rookie and destroy their opponent. It wasn't even close. I mean, and Nebraska, like you pointed out, we're 5-1 coming into this game. They're not a bad team. I mean, and they were just getting destroyed. I mean, I can't emphasize, and I know it sounds like I'm a little off my rocker, but I can't emphasize enough that this IU team, you got to understand how bad this team was and what this team is doing this year. It's unheard of to turn around on a dime, basically, because a new head coach come in who apparently knew what he was doing. I mean, the recruiting and all this stuff obviously goes into it and everything, but I'm flabbergasted. I mean, because this is one of those things, like if this were to happen in the NFL, you usually see it start to happen slowly over like a 2 or 3 years period. You know, like a new head coach comes in and new rookies and all this stuff.
I mean,
this is
the
overnight.
exception to that rule would be Houston. Houston was like that.
But again, that even felt a little well, CJ Stroud put it over the top, but they had like some pieces around it as well.
Well, I'm sure there was pieces here too that he built on. And he made players who were the star players of that team.
And you may be right about that. I didn't
more
follow
star
this team
players
as well before because I didn't know who was on the team. So yeah, you might be right about that.
But yeah, I mean, they're doing it, dude. Like, I give you all the credit in the world. And like I told you, yeah, I talk shit, but like honestly, it may be a close game.
I was gonna say, how are you honestly feeling about Iowa versus Ohio State right now?
We got fucked out of that game in Oregon, and the refs even admitted that call was bullshit. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
So you did lose one. Okay.
Yeah, we did lose one, and that was the Oregon game, and it was a close game. And Oregon ain't no joke.
No, I think they're one of the undefeateds too. So yeah.
But it was like, do I think we'll lose? No, just because that's me choosing my team over your.
You're
team.
Being a homer. I get it. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a close game. Hell yeah, I think it'd be a very close game.
Well, all I know is I hope we watch this game in person because
we are.
I want to.
We are.
It's a week before Thanksgiving, so I should be around. So let's do that.
Right.
This gonna be fun. Now, if I lose, I lose. I mean, I'm not expecting. But if
go
that
home,
happens, I'm going to just be.
House.
I'm not gonna rub it in. Matt will rub it in.
Nah. If they win, you can go home. I promise.
I think it's an AEW pay-per-view that night. You might want to watch too. So
kicking you out. I'm like, get out.
Kicking you out. But anyway, so yeah, I just thought that was worth mentioning because, like I said, it's just for me at least, it felt like out of nowhere. I mean, again, I'm not the biggest college watcher, so I'm going to tune into them a little bit more now. I mean, I'm probably not going to be a religious
brother. I'm telling you right now, I never really watched college games. Today was probably the only time I didn't watch the game, but I listened to the IU game today. I have watched more college football this season than I have ever watched before, and it is exciting to watch. Like, it really is. Come Saturday morning, we turn on NFL or we turn on game day college game day because Pat's on there and it's hilarious.
Pat McAfee,
hilarious every time.
Brandon has an unhealthy relationship with Pat.
but then
starting to make me like his
jealous
work friends. Yeah, like
dude, Pat gets me through the day.
Yeah.
It's funny because Nate's not a fan.
Really?
Pat gets me through the day. He thinks he's a little annoying, which I'm not gonna lie. Pat is a bit of what I would call an acquired taste.
He's obnoxious as hell, but he acknowledges it, which makes it better.
Pat is living his life, his best life. He's even said it multiple times. I live the dumbest life possible. And like, if people didn't want him to be there, he wouldn't be there. They obviously want him to be there.
Yeah, you have to have a personality to pay the bills, and that's what it.
And I think that's why he works so well in like WWE because WWE sometimes the best personalities and the best characters are the ones who turn themselves up to 11, and Pat's definitely doing that. So I think
they love him there. His interviews, do they get crazy? Yeah, but at the same time, Pat asks the questions he needs to ask. He gets the information he needs to get to. He's very thorough in that regard. Everybody on the show is, but then like. When they're done with the ESPN stuff, like when they're off ESPN, they're back to just YouTube, brother. It is a nut house. But
you think they'll ever come to Indiana? No.
He told Signetti himself. He said he wishes that Ohio State game was being played in Bloomington because he's trying to bring a.
Where's the Michigan game?
Yeah, because he's trying to bring a college game day to Bloomington.
Well, the Michigan game is home in Indiana, maybe.
Yeah, but I think there's a bigger marquee game.
You guys need to tell your bosses, whatever one maybe will pay attention.
To do the ticket thing again.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, the only problem with that is normally when they used to like give out free tickets at work, like I said, the stadium would be so empty you could move up to wherever you want to kind of sit. Now you're going to have to take the nosebleeds because that's all those tickets were worth for anyway.
Yeah.
They only give you the way up because now there's not going to be any open area. But at the same time, I'd still take a free seat. I'd say, no matter where it is, probably. But yeah. So,
but yeah, maybe. But Pat. So, but what I'm saying is like, so we turn on College Game Day. We'll watch College Game Day. First game comes on, and then I'm sitting in the living room and we're watching college football games all day, and then turn around on Sundays and watch.
Yeah,
NFL
we are
football.
Watching college football all day.
Wow. and you're watching NFL on Sunday, so it's a lot of
Yeah.
football. Or at least I know you're at least watching the Colts and Steelers if you can.
But
by the way, you watched it this week.
We end up watching like 3 or 4 games plus the
We want, yeah.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
I'm sure of it. Well, speaking of NFL, let's get into a little bit of that as well. Obviously, last we left off, we haven't been on the air since week 4, so we got a little bit. We're not going to go through everything, obviously. We'd be here all night. But thought I'd at least kind of throw out there that the Colts and the Steelers did play one another a few weeks ago. And, and I know Miranda probably doesn't want to talk about it too much.
Eric.
I know it's old news, but I still got to rub it in a little bit.
That's hilarious.
Somehow there's a lot of like blue like TikToks and stuff going around where he's smashing people in the face with pies. So I don't know what that is exactly, but it's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean we got the win this year, but again, the way I look at it this year, could have gone either way. I mean, I did think it was ironic the last time we were on the air, we were talking about how TJ Watt's a force to be reckoned with. In that game, I didn't hear TJ Watt's name once. They did a good job
because they cheated. They had 3 people on his ass.
They were holding the shit out of TJ. There were so many missed calls.
Fair enough.
There were so many missed calls. You clearly saw that shit.
Bastards.
I watched that game. I said, no shot.
And I ain't gonna lie, the Colts won last week against the Titans on a pass interference call. Should have been called too. We got away with that one too. So as much as I sometimes criticize the Chiefs, Colts got away with a few this year too. So I don't know if that's going to be a trend, but at the same time,
but it was hilarious to see.
However, there was one. Speaking of interference calls and stuff, this one I wanted to run across you guys. This is a Colts play against the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple weeks ago, where Josh Downs catches a first down and he gets up and gets the first down marker thing there or whatever, and he gets flagged for this. And I just want to play this to show you the play. So anyway, I'll take the audio off, but yeah, so he makes this, he gets the first down, gets up, points the guns, first down, right? He gets flagged for that.
Yeah.
Because now they're saying it was unsportsmanlike conduct or something. I don't know. Yeah. But they're saying the reason why he got flagged was because it was the gun motion.
Yeah.
How many people have you seen get a first down and they go, and no problem?
They all do it. So the thing is, the NFL put out this big presser about it. That's literally what they want. Is that they can do whatever you want, just not that.
But apparently Pat Mahomes can.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said,
this is the same, either the same weekend or the same year. It's this year. Boom, same thing. No flag. Not one flag on Pat Mahomes for the same thing. So someone, again, as I agree, the Colts got some favorable calls. Explain that one to me.
It's dumb.
It's the exact same thing.
Like Pat had this exact same example. Pat had this on the show, and it was like, it's stupid.
It's so stupid. But anyway, that's the NFL for you. By the way, just in, the Lions scored again. Sorry, Nate, if you're watching. I don't think you are. This was the Cowboys got routed 47-9 last weekend by the Detroit Lions, who came into Dallas and absolutely put a whooping on them.
It wasn't even funny, dude.
Were they running up the score on Dallas here, you think, a little bit? They were throwing. I understand the NFL. Stop them. I get it. But I got no problem with that personally. But all I know is I was playing Matt Fantasy Football, and he had Jared Goff. And all I can say is he was throwing the ball up 30. I'm going, someone bench Goff already, please. But I still ended up beating Matt. But anyway, it was a lot closer than it should have been. That's for sure. But if they were trying to run up the score, they kind of paid for it a little bit, though, because their star defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, also was carted off the field after a gruesome leg injury where he basically wrapped his tibia around his offensive lineman, or I'm sorry, one of his other defensive players. It was crazy. That thing broke in half.
But he finished the sack.
He did. He already had. It was already wrapped up, so he just went down. He probably went down like a sack of potatoes after that hit.
But yeah, he did. You could tell something was wrong too because he yelled.
Not good.
Yeah,
immediately.
He was mad.
It was one of those you never want to see.
He was mad. Like,
of course, he knew his season was done. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to go. Oh,
but
well,
also
that's not healing.
That just happened the other night too.
Monday.
To one of the
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday too. One
the Steelers.
Denver.
Oh, okay. I know there's a Saints guy who got carted off too, but yeah.
Was it the Saints? It might have been. They might have been that guy. Yeah, it might have been.
Either way.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Broke his fucking.
Speaking of the Saints started off this season so well. Like what was it, 4-5-0, and they have been just decimated by injuries this year.
Yeah,
their offense, their defense. The only guy who hasn't got hurt so far is Alvin Kamara. Knock on wood, he's on my fantasy team. But because everybody else is hurt, it's starting to affect his game now. Because it's just like, dude. So I feel bad for the Saints.
Dude, injuries suck like in football because like
NFL.
One injury could just turn your teams. Look at Miami. Well, they weren't doing that hot when Tua was still there, so.
They're doing better than they were now. Let's hope now. Watch, they'll beat the Colts without Tua this weekend, but we'll get to that in just a second.
Is this just a bad year for NFL injuries? Because I feel like everybody on our fantasy league has like a bunch of people.
Brother,
it might be a little more than normal, but that's
last year it was Achilles. I have never seen that many Achilles injuries in one season. Like it was crazy. Oh boy, in San Francisco. Tore his Achilles jogging on or hopping up and down on the sidelines, get ready to go back out there in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I remember that.
You do more stretches, guys. Come on.
I mean, the Colts have always had injuries early in the season. I don't know why that keeps happening, but yeah, you're not wrong. It does feel like it's a lot more than normal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's probably about on par. It does happen. It sometimes just doesn't happen to as many high caliber players as it has been happening to this year. So,
but I think that's what it is. All these high caliber players are trying to play up to these big contracts now, and they're just I don't know what it is, but it's like
it's insane, bro. I'll tell you. But there has been some bright spots. Oh, go on.
Could that be that there's just too much pressure right now on everybody?
I don't know about that. With the amount of rookies that are out now, I don't know, man.
I don't know. You always got to bring in new players. You know,
what causes it? But it's like once one of them happens too, it's like a domino effect.
Yeah, it never is just one. You know, once one like the Colts were pretty healthy, then like they lost his Forrest Buckner, then Kenny Moore gets hurt. I think he did come back. Josh Downs at the beginning of the year, then Anthony Richardson, and Jonathan Taylor's still out. It's like, bro, it's like stop it. You know what I mean? If everybody can just get on the field at the same time. Makes you feel like your team could actually show you what they got, but until they
who's gonna be hitting the field this weekend?
Who's that?
Old Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in just a second too. But there is some bright spots in the NFL. Most notably, rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders, or as Aaron likes to say, the Redskins. I agree with him. I wish they were still the Redskins, but so yeah, he's basically been putting up rookie records all over the place here. He's won Rookie of the Week 5 weeks in a row. I don't know about 5 weeks in a row, but 5 out of the 6 weeks he's won Rookie of the Week. Definitely making a case to be Rookie of the Year, no question about it. At least offensively. But he's playing. He's outplaying many veterans in the league and easily outplaying all other rookie quarterbacks, including the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams. So yeah, good to see that for them. Also got some other news. We got some trades happening. We got Devontae Adams, who was with the Las Vegas Raiders, has now been officially traded to the New York Giants, reuniting with his Green Bay quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. So he's quoted as saying, having Rodgers as my quarterback again, he was part of why I am who I am. So they even made an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, as we mentioned earlier, as well. You know, they're happy to be back together. And from what I heard, I think Devontae Adams may be living with Aaron Rodgers at the moment.
Probably.
Put it out. So yeah, I mean, and he does appear like he's going to be playing Sunday night where against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So 2 weeks in a row, Mike Tomlin said, well, we were preparing for Devontae Adams last week when we beat the Raiders. We're preparing for him again this week. So I guess they've already got that under their belts a little bit. So in that regard, I guess the Steelers are ready for it. But yeah, could be a good one for Sunday Night Football. Miranda will get to watch him this week. So there you go. Yeah. You should get a chance to check out your Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah.
I'll be right back. I think I have to let the dog out.
Okay, that's fine. We also got another trade, Amari Cooper, who's basically kind of not been doing much with the Browns. There's not been a whole lot going wrong with the Browns anyway. So he's been traded to the Buffalo Bills, as I know our friend Mike, who finally showed up in the chat, he said, "Hey, what's up, gang? What have I missed? Not a whole lot. Just talking movies, and we're into football now a little bit. Unfortunately, about the time you get here, we're probably going to end up into politics for too long. So sorry, Mike. But anyway, but in his case, Amari Cooper, maybe it'll help Mike's fantasy team. I know he's got Josh Allen too. So these two guys, if they could ever get on the same page, this could be good for the Buffalo Bills, as they've been missing a big star wide receiver ever since Stephon Diggs left this year and went to the Houston Texans. So yeah, this could be interesting as well. Yeah. Huh?
The color scheme on those jerseys, I don't know. It makes it look photoshopped.
Well, this is photoshopped. I'm sure of it.
Oh, it is photoshopped.
I mean, look at their faces, especially number 17. He's like, definitely.
Okay. I thought. Okay.
Yeah, Mike's at least he shut up for the important stuff. Yeah, sports over politics. I hear you, brother. I really do. But anyway, so we've also got let's see, the Colts. I guess they finally did get another win this last week, I guess. Beating the Tennessee Titans 20-17. Ugly game. I don't know what it is about the Colts, but they always have to win ugly. It doesn't help that a lot of their team is, as I said, kind of hurt right now. But it does sound like we're going to be getting. What's that? What? Come on, say it.
Said they're trash.
Oh, brah. They're 3-3. They're 500.
Kidding.
I hear you. But they're going to be getting back Anthony Richardson, I guess, this week against the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, who is still without Tua Tagovailoa, at least for another week from the sounds of things. He may come back from the concussion issues he's having, which I don't know. That's up to him, I guess. But
live your life, champ.
Good luck, champ. That's for sure. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think they should put Anthony Richardson in or stick with Flacco?
Oh, definitely Richardson.
Stick with Flacco.
Well, of course, I know that. So what side are you on, Brandon, on that one? I know, and I'll tell you why I am the way I am.
I can see the benefit of both.
Okay.
I understand that Richardson could use the reps. That's fine. I totally get that. But I also see the benefit of Richardson sitting out and still watching and learning from Flacco and playing later.
So it worked for Jordan Love, worked for Aaron Rodgers. I get that too. Yeah.
So
now, he kind of did that last year too, though, with Minshew.
Yeah, but if we're going to talk about who's the better quarterback here,
fair. Minshew's already been benched, I believe, in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, and I understand. A lot of people want the Colts to win now, and I understand that. And I understand it's probably like a 3 to 4 year window, probably before some of these contracts are going to start coming up and stuff as well. So I get that too. The way I look at it, you're not drafting a number 4 overall quarterback and benching him when he's healthy. I understand he's an injury risk, but like you said, he needs the reps, and that's the only way he is going to learn. He's very inexperienced, even in high school and college. He only played I think 13 games in college. Yeah. So it's the only way he will learn is by getting on the field. So that just comes from repetition. You can learn on the practice field all you want, but until you get to that game speed, which is where he's going to have to learn how to get down, learn how to protect his body. He's going to have to. And I thought last week, or what was it, a couple weeks ago when he went out, he had 4 passes. He completed 3 of them. He was looking better. His footwork was looking better. So the more you keep him on the field, the more he will learn. But I understand but at the same time, when he is hurt, I am glad to have Flacco. I think he's going to be great. Hopefully we don't need him as much, but yeah, as much as we can get him on the field, the better. It does hurt without Jonathan Taylor the last few weeks, and no Jonathan Taylor this week either. He's already been ruled out. So, Richardson may be the run game. That worries me. However, the Miami Dolphins run defense, I think, is considered one of the worst in the league. So in that regard, maybe Goodson and Sermon, maybe they can do something, and maybe Richardson can do something with his legs without getting hurt. But that's going to be the key. Maybe this would be a good game for him to practice his sliding. For sure. So we'll see what that happens. But I mean, I would like to see him throw more in the pocket too.
It's not like he's a very polarizing player when he's on the field. But he just has to be on the field.
Well, and I feel like he's like Lamar Jackson or Cam Newton in his early years. I want to see more of him using his legs because I think that is a part of his game that will make the Colts very versatile and much more unpredictable. The problem is every time he's tried to do it in the NFL with his legs, that seems to be when he has the problems with his head injury, his knee injuries, or shoulder, or whatever it might be. So I'm a little part of me doesn't want to see him run either. You know what I mean? I just want to see him maybe get more accurate with his passing.
We've seen where Lamar last year made it a point to show everybody he could stand in the pocket. That was just him trying to shut up everybody who's saying he couldn't do it.
Pretty much.
And
he did
it. very fucking well. Like,
I mean, it's one of those things. It's like we were talking about Jane Daniels a few minutes ago. Jane Daniels is doing what we want Richardson to do.
Yeah.
And he's one of those rare instances where you come in right out of the draft and boom, you're ready to go. But again, he had more experience in college than Richardson did too. Richardson's a gifted freak of an athlete. It's just, can he stay healthy and can he hone those skills that we hope that he can improve on? I'm starting to see a little bit of improvement here and there.
Yeah, there has been improvement. Yeah.
Do that. Yeah. So I'm hoping by the end of this year, that's all I want to see as a Colts fan this year, is to see gradual improvement. And hopefully next year, the year after, then we can make a run.
Yeah.
But right now, it's like Colts fans just need to understand the situation we're in. They really do. And
we're not in the best. We're not in the most advantageous spot right now.
No. Now, that being said, I think we're only like a game, maybe two out in the division. I don't know if Houston's lost 2 games.
And I still feel like there's other pieces we need and can use to improve on too. Like, and that's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, probably not. And even then, a lot of times Bauer doesn't like spending in the free agency spot, which is a lot of criticism he gets too. I'd like to see maybe our defense shore up some of their tackling. They have moments where they look brilliant. They have other moments it's like, why can't you tackle? So I don't understand.
No, hold on. That's been like the NFL in general lately. Like some of these teams, like nobody knows how to wrap up a tackle.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is they can't do that hip drop tackle anymore. That's
yeah. Whatever, Mike. Let's calm down. Okay?
Hey, to be fair, Mike has been wishing everybody luck every week. So
he has, but it's very sarcastic. The way he said,
you think so?
The way he typed out my name in there, like I could clearly tell he's, you know what I'm saying?
By typing it the way it's supposed to be.
Super condescending, you know what I'm saying?
He said something to me like
the tone and how he typed it, bro.
He didn't think he was going to be able to jump on tonight. He sent me a text. It was like, wish Brandon good luck for him. What did he call you there? He said, wish that big hunk of chocolate Brandon good luck. So
see what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't really mean it. He's trying to get under my skin. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. You don't really mean it?
Yeah. No, I don't mean it.
Also, this weekend, as we said, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be facing the New York Jets on Sunday Night Football, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are planning, from the sounds of things, to start Russell Wilson for the first time this year. Now,
they were going to start Russell at some point. Like
I understand, but kind of come back into the Flacco Richardson conversation.
No,
Justin Fields has the Steelers at 4-2 right now. Is it a good move to bench Justin Fields right now when you got a winning record?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Justin said it himself too. And yeah, he was being a little dick towards the end of that, but he said it himself. He should have played better. He knows there's a lot of areas that he is not good in. We know too. We've seen it. So like Russell Wilson is obviously the veteran. Let's not pretend like Russell Wilson isn't a good quarterback, because he kind of fucking is. So
well, at least
I believe Fields.
He won last year.
No, he was on a bad team last year. His stats were fine last year.
Fair.
Team that was ass.
I am curious to see what he could do under a Mike Tomlin coach team, for sure. And with some of the weapons that they had, like George Pickens.
Yeah, Fryer move.
I see people are excited with the Pickens and Wilson duo.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's also one of those things, kind of like Richardson, where you draft him high at number 4. You're not going to bench him for that reason. You also paid Russell Wilson a lot of money.
Not as much as Denver did, though.
No, and I can't remember. Denver may have had to eat some of that, but anyway,
they did. They ate a lot of that.
So in that case,
whole lot. Like Pittsburgh got him at a steal. I think it was what is it, $1 million? No. Yeah.
I don't remember.
They didn't pay that much.
It's not as much as I thought it was, but
no,
anyway.
They didn't pay that much. Okay. I know Denver paid a bulk of that, and because he had guaranteed money from them.
Well, let's be fair. Yes, Justin Fields at least looked like a Pro Bowler against the Indianapolis Colts. But
other teams,
it's mostly been the Steelers' defense. I don't know about the run game as much, but that defense has been, again, for whatever reason, didn't go well against the Colts. Not trying to rub it in. I'm just pointing out.
We know why it didn't go well.
I'm just pointing out.
I know.
Okay, but yeah, but it's just one of those deals. It's like I don't understand why it
cheated.
In my head, I'm going, we should have lost that game. But anyway,
we cheated, and I'm
okay. The defense wasn't good because you had 3 guys on him.
I did see some picture of like they were holding watch this going. Hello.
Yeah. He was like this.
You got him around his. Yeah, you gonna let me go? Anyway,
hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets have not been on their top of their game either as of late. I think they lost.
No, their offensive line. Their offensive line is not. I don't think they're equipped to handle Patrick Queen and Fucking TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Joey
Is that
Porter.
game in Pittsburgh? I think it is.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's going to be rougher.
They got Joey Porter Jr., who was on Adams in the game in Vegas. So,
yeah. So if they were able to shut him down there, they could do it again for sure.
Yep.
And I mean, Rodgers is a little bit better of a quarterback, I think, than anything that the Raiders have. But he's also getting up there in age too. So we'll have to see where this goes. But it could be an interesting one to watch on Sunday Night Football.
And they got to know who's the other safety in Pittsburgh.
Steelers?
Yeah,
they're good. I'm not a big. I don't watch.
I know he's good too because and he'll probably be on Lazard.
Yeah, most likely.
So,
but yeah, the New York Packers are definitely going to be something to watch for seeing how that works.
That's
pretty much the way it is. I mean, let's be honest here.
Wasn't Lazard on Packers too? Didn't he play for them?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Nathaniel Hackett, I think he was the offensive coordinator. I think he got demoted, but yeah, he was in the Packers. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did you say New York Packers?
Yeah, that's what he said.
I meant to say that.
He said
what?
it on purpose.
When did that happen?
No.
It's not. It's just all the players that are on the Jets, the New York Jets now, came from the Green Bay Packers. So I've called them the New York Packers. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
He was like, "Whoa,
wait a minute.
When did this take place?"
Yeah,
I was just about to say, New York has enough teams. Come on.
Right, yeah.
States that don't have one. Just saying, Utah. Come on, man.
All right, listen, Utah ain't built like that.
Yeah, I mean, California's got like 3, so.
I mean, the wealthiest guy there tried it, but then he died. So.
Well, I know the one guy. I told you we had this conversation too. He was on Pat's show, and he's bringing hockey to Utah.
I bet after Trump comes back,
they'll probably get a football team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't even figure out.
That's how you make America great again, right there.
Put another
Utah
football team. Hey, you could do expansion thing.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
We've already extended.
If you can fill Memorial Stadium with 53,000 people, surely you can in Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Utah's got less people than Indiana does, but
they're wanting something like that though.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you give it to them. Yeah,
supply and demand, dude.
Exactly. Anything from this schedule for Week 7 that you're looking forward to, other than the aforementioned Sunday Night Football? 2 Monday night games this week: Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the LA Chargers versus the Arizona Cardinals. That Chargers Cardinals game is exclusive to ESPN Plus, so if you have that, you can't watch it.
So here's the thing. I want them to stop putting shitty games
on London. Time. Oh, primetime?
Yeah.
That's
gonna be a shitty game right there.
I don't know though. John Harbaugh against the Cardinals might not be that bad.
No, I'm not saying that game.
Jim Harbaugh.
The Sunday night game is good. The both Monday night football games are good. I'm fine with all those. But that Thursday night game is gonna be ass.
Well, we already had it. Denver Broncos destroyed the Saints.
Oh my God, that game was. Anyway, not even.
It was, well, a lot of that, I think, again, was due to the Saints being decimated. So if they'd have had a roster, maybe that would have been interesting.
That London game's going to be trash water.
Yeah. I hate to say it.
That fucking Seahawks game will be good. Tennessee and Buffalo should be good.
Commanders ought to destroy the Cardinals.
They better.
Probably the
You mean the Panthers? You mean the Panthers?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said the Cardinals.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Commanders, Panthers. Yeah.
Chiefs San Francisco will be good, and people better start putting some respect on Brock Purdy's name.
Well, if he's ever going to show it in like maybe a shootout situation, this might be it.
But he's been doing it this season so far with none of his star players.
Yeah, I mean, he's had
throwing the ball to people that nobody fucking knew.
The funny thing is, Ayuk's been on the field all damn year, and he's only had one good game fantasy-wise. Trust me, I know.
Well, that's because everybody thinks he has nobody else to throw the ball to. So Ayuk's being doubled.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think Debo is supposed to come back this week. I think I did read that. Now, Jordan Mason, the other guy I got on my fantasy team, he had a shoulder injury last week, but they say he will play this week, so at least there's that. But how long will he be in the game is another question. That could be the marquee matchup. Now, the Lions and Vikings could be another one. The Vikings they're legit too.
Vikings putting it on people.
Packers and Texans is sneaky good too.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's in Green Bay.
Love and Stroud.
Love and Stroud. So yeah,
they're going from Houston to Green Bay. Oof.
Yeah. So there's some sneaky ones out there. There's a few turds too, but
there's quite a few turds.
Now again, and watch the Dolphins somehow beat the Colts without Tua.
Shut up.
I'm just saying. I hope I'm dead wrong on that, but it sounds like one of those trap games.
Man, that Atlanta and Seattle game that could go either way. They both.
Yeah, it actually could.
Too. Browns is washed.
I'm going to say this too: the Eagles, Giants. Giants are sneakily kind of fun to watch.
Daniel Jones has moments, okay?
Moments, but a lot of times he's trash. Wrong,
but in some of those moments, they're kind of key moments, and he comes through for him. So
I mean, I'm not saying the Giants are winning that game, but the Eagles ain't been playing their best ball either. Granted, they've been injured, especially the wide receiver spot.
That LA Las Vegas game gonna be ass butter.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so I don't know.
There's a couple games that are going to be
that New England Jacksonville game, like you said. Even the coach for the Jaguars, as much as I love Tony Khan for making AEW, even though it has its moments where it's not great either, Jacksonville, even the head coach Doug Peterson said, we need a culture change down here.
Yeah, you need something.
Makes you wonder. Again, I love Tony, and I hope he does well at AEW and outside of Jacksonville, even though they're in the Colts division. I got nothing against the guy. But it kind of makes you go, well, AEW's kind of on the downtrend a little bit. AEW or Jacksonville's on the downtrend. Maybe it's something that they need to, like you said, culture change.
You need to
all the way around. You know what I mean? That would help everything.
Do you think they get rid of Trevor Lawrence?
You know what? I wouldn't be stunned.
You paid it, but they paid him a lot of money too.
Yeah. Well, we can go back. We're about done with the NFL stuff. We can go back to this a little bit, Mike. Sorry you missed the IU 7-0 talk, but what a butt kicking they gave Nebraska. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about how that's basically unprecedented here in Bloomington.
Weird.
Talking about the for those who didn't hear it a while ago, this IU game. Yeah, I mean, just I know I feel like I'm kind of fanboying out a little bit here, but it's like
you are.
This is crazy to me because it's like the world is upside down, right? Literally, this is another one of those instances where it's like, yeah. So anyway,
we were almost stuck in that traffic,
dude.
I can't imagine. Well, here's the thing. I ordered a pizza just to watch it at home. The pizza took 2.5 hours to get here, and I called them, and they said it's because of the game traffic.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It was bad, dude.
I was like, I didn't think about that. So that's insane. But yeah. So hope everybody had fun. I didn't get my pizza for a long time. Huh?
When was that traffic?
It was like like noon to
4:30. Yeah.
Afternoon.
Oh, okay. I only asked because what was it? It was yesterday. So the wife and I were out and about, and we're trying to make a left-hand turn, and there was just an endless amount of cars.
Oh yeah, people going up for the tailgating and getting there the night before type shit.
Oh,
yeah,
that was the same
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet they've been partying all for sure.
Yeah. Plus, it was you said it was homecoming too, right?
Yeah, homecoming too. That probably didn't hurt. Didn't help, I should say. Mike said in the mid to late 80s, IU had teams in the top 25. See, we were talking about how not since 1965 have they been like 6-7-0. I don't think they were that good. At least I've been reading that. If they are, you can correct me. But yeah, I mean, the 80s, I know that did they win like a championship in the 80s?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
How are you like that?
Anyway, I don't either. That's why I'm asking Mike. But anyway, I don't want to stall too long. We are getting ready to move on to the next thing. But so yeah, I mean, I'm just glad to see them doing well, and I hope they continue to do so for sure. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, any other thoughts on the NFL or football in general?
No, it's gonna be a good slate.
Nope.
Well, a couple, but I'm not watching that London game. I'm gonna sleep
for the IU Ohio State game. You guys are more than welcome to come out and watch.
Yay!
Okay. Cry about it and go home.
Yep.
Hey, we might not be the one crying.
I'm telling you, halftime, if the score is what it is, y'all getting out.
All right, listen, Brandon, don't start jinxing it.
That's what I told Matt earlier.
Yeah.
But that's what he was doing. So at least we've now got a jinx on both sides of this now.
I said if it's lopsided in IU's favor by halftime, y'all can get out of my house.
I'm just saying, it was like, what was that, 30 or 28-7 at half earlier today?
Yeah, they beat the shit out of them today.
They beat the crap out of Nebraska.
I said, dude, that's crazy as hell.
I mean, and like you said earlier, Nebraska's no slouch.
Nah.
So, yeah, that's crazy to see. Mike said they haven't won the Big Ten since 1967. Okay, so yeah, I knew they had some moments in the 80s, but yeah, apparently it's not been. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, they were talking about on the broadcast that they were actually considering that there might be an opportunity here for the IU or Indiana Hoosiers to possibly make the college playoff berths, make a playoff run. So if that's the case, that is definitely something that IU has never had. Of course, playoffs has not been the thing for a little while now. So, but yeah. All right, well, let's move on from that and let's get into Dicker's favorite topic. That is, of course, politics. So if you check out, buddy, it's good to have you here. So talk to you later. All right, here we go. Let's get into gotta find it. There we go. right. For once, we're actually doing pretty good on time. How about that, Aaron?
Crushing it.
Crushing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got early bedtime this tonight. So yeah.
You got an early bedtime. Oh, church in the morning.
You got church in the morning.
I got you.
Well, yeah. Well, we're out of car, so I have to go with my father-in-law, and he has to go in early. So yeah.
You figured out how to get to work and everything on during the week next week, or when you get back, I should say.
Oh, we've got a plan.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to make
sure. We got a plan.
Mike did say if you're thinking IU winning a title in the 80s, that basketball team did in 81 and basketball team. That's what it was. Okay, thank you. I knew it was something. All right. But anyway, enough college talk. Get down to the real nitty gritty. Mike, get out of here. It's time for the politics. It's very bigly. Here we go. All right. So
you stupid.
So anyway, here thought this would be a fun little thing to show here. Obviously, I can save us if you make me the captain. You're the co-pilot right now, dipshit. So yeah, But anyhow, this is basically the way it's kind of going in the United States right now. Former WWE superstar and Drax the Destroyer actor Dave Bautista has officially endorsed Kamala Harris for president.
He looks like shit, dude.
Now I have the video he put out basically where he was working out in a boxing ring. He does look a little better here. This picture makes him look deceptively small. I'm not going to lie to you. It really does. But he's definitely trimmed down a lot. He's still very muscular. But at the same time, he might have been vegan eating or something here. I don't know what's anyhow. But to counteract Dave Bautista, to counteract Dave Bautista, Kane, aka Glenn Jacobs, who is now a mayor of a town in Tennessee, right?
Yeah,
Knoxville or Knox, Tennessee.
Yeah, Knox,
and Undertaker, they officially endorsed President Trump. So let's check out that video.
All right, everyone. November 5th, Election Mania. Choice is yours. You can go with President Trump, Kane, and the Undertaker, or you can take Kamala Harris, Dave Bautista, and Tim Walz. Choose wisely. The nation depends on it.
And that should be an easy choice.
So yeah, the Brothers of Destruction have officially endorsed Donald Trump, and I do believe Donald Trump will be on Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
here at some point too. So I'm definitely looking forward to listening to that as well. So hopefully that'll be a good listen to as well. On top of that, I didn't have a chance to pull anything up on it, but I guess former Pittsburgh Steelers Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown also endorsed Donald Trump in Pennsylvania today when he was hosting a rally there as well. So
Antonio Brown got a hug from Trump.
Okay.
Brother, he has been wilding out.
He has.
Has he finally come to his senses? I guess.
I'm guessing.
Because normally, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if Antonio Brown's the type of guy I would want an endorsement from, particularly.
He's been going through it, big dog.
At the same time, I'm glad he's endorsing the guy. I'm supporting him. Once again, good luck, Brandon. Mike said, I look forward to seeing if Black Lightning's team can bring the chocolate thunder against my struggling team.
Okay. this man.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, good luck to both of you in your fantasy match. For sure. But anyhow. That's why he does it to you, because of that reaction. I mean, what? Anyhow. Yeah, you're welcome, Mike. Anyway, also this week, speaking of Pennsylvania, Donald Trump returned to the place of his first assassin. Well, I'm sorry, this was probably a couple weeks ago at this point. It's been a while, but he returned to the Butler, Pennsylvania, the site of the first assassination attempt, and held a huge rally. Here's a picture of the aerial view of it. Thousands and thousands of people here. So, all you people who are hearing Kamala Harris talk about how he's got small crowds, might want to look right here. Just check that out right quick. But it was also complete with a memorial for Corey Comparator, who lost his life tragically during that first assassination attempt as well. So I thought this was a really cool moment to do that here. It also was complete with Elon Musk as well, throwing his support behind Donald Trump as he's been doing as well in person in Pennsylvania and doing this great jump up in the air that was caught on camera. So I thought that was fun to see as well.
Tonight he gave some random guy in the audience $1 million that signed his pack.
Really?
And he'll be doing that every day up until the election.
Nice.
Just giving somebody $1 million.
I know he's been traveling across the country to support Donald Trump in person.
He's been doing
it. He's in Pennsylvania. He had a town hall again tonight in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I see. It's awesome.
I wish we lived in a swing state.
I know, right? It's kind of like, I mean, I'm kind of glad our state normally goes the way I want it to go, but I mean, there's going to be times where Indiana may become a swing state one of these years. They do tend
There's
to
a bunch of rhinos in Indiana that need
Yeah,
to.
that's true too. But anyway, so hopefully, yeah, I mean, you're right though. It would be nice to kind of see some of these people come to our state, but since they know that they're going to vote a certain way, they normally don't. I get that's the way the campaigns usually go, but it's kind of it's not that they don't, care for us. I think or don't want to come see us. It's just they know.
Yeah,
it's more
they know
important
we can take care of ourselves here.
yeah, except for certain counties. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah. What,
Are
Aaron?
rallies generally free?
I think so. I'm pretty sure they're free or rallies free. I'm pretty sure they are.
Anybody know that?
I don't know. I really don't.
I don't know that for sure.
I wouldn't think they'd be outrageously expensive.
All right, I will consult the computer intelligences.
Yeah, you do that while I move on. Let us know. But speaking of Elon Musk, just kind of a side note, by the way, did any of you all see this
Trademark
rocket
pending.
booster landing? Trademark pending.
Yeah.
This was outstanding. Just thought I'd re-show this footage here because this is the type of thing that a Donald Trump presidency will obviously help out as well because he's going to reduce regulations and things like this. So this is a 400-ton rocket booster being caught in midair by what Elon Musk has called Mechazilla. So they can reuse these boosters when they send up rockets into space. So this is outstanding. This is the first ever attempt at such a thing, and they caught it. I mean, I don't know about you, but again, it's kind of like the IU situation. I'm absolutely floored by this. When I saw it, I was like, this is the future right here. And if Elon Musk has his way, we'll be going to Mars sooner rather than later. Unmanned and manned missions. He wants to colonize Mars and become an interplanetary species.
Also, robots.
Yeah. I mean, this is great. I mean, this is the type of stuff that you see only in Star Trek movies. And I believe even Elon Musk said he wants to see Starfleet become a thing, which is Starfleet is Star Trek. So this is, Star Trek is obviously known for, communicators and stuff, which are basically cell phones now. So, I mean, they've kind of paved the way to what our future could be like. And if we can actually get up into space and, you reuse these instruments and stuff that we never could use before, cost too much money, it's only a good thing. So hopefully we'll get to that point. But yeah, I just thought that was outstanding. So
I'll go to space.
I don't know if I want to be the first one.
No.
It's already going to happen in my lifetime anyway. But I mean, I would love to see it.
I want to go on the one after they already get there and start building shit.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. Y'all take care of it. I'll go when I'm in my 80s or something. If y'all.
Yeah, that's right. That's gonna be a new retirement home.
If William Shatner can go in his 80s into outer space, I mean, why can't when I get older? I guess. I mean, that's the smoothness of that.
That's fucking.
This is a great camera shot, by the way.
That's dope.
That is like a glove. I mean, it's
that
insane.
is dope. That is dope.
So, and not only that, how many times does something like that go successful on the first try? So, did
you listen to the live?
I don't think so. No.
The excitement and those people, it was amazing.
I mean, you got to think about it.
We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in
here. A football crowd. Well, it's like all their hard work finally paying off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything that they've designed and concept. And how long have they been working on this stuff? It's got to be a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, so to finally see it come to fruition on the first try, yeah, I'd be losing my mind too. I'm not gonna lie to you. So for all you people out there who criticize Elon Musk just because he supports Donald Trump, get over it, man. Because he's not what they say he is, whether you like that or not. Elon Musk is doing great things for the world, including buying out X, SpaceX stuff, Starlink, all this stuff is good stuff. So
Elon said himself the other day he is an alien.
He did say that.
Well, maybe that's why he's so smart.
I'm thinking he is either that or he's a time traveler like Barron Trump.
Brother.
Anyway. I was gonna make a quick comment. So about the rocket catch. When companies do a lot of planning before they make a decision and they do some research and stuff, generally things seem to work out a little bit better.
Hey, maybe your employer should take a fucking course in Elon's book.
No, I think they're too busy. They have their nose up Kamala.
Oh well, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. But anyway, I don't want to get fired, yo. Anyway,
I know.
Can you get fired for saying stuff like that here?
I have no fucking idea.
If it ever got back to it, maybe. But that's what I'm about to say.
I mean, we haven't said no names.
No, I highly doubt it. I wouldn't worry. But anyway, just so you know, it is on the internet. Just so you know. But anyway,
you should see some of their Facebook comments.
Oh, I know. If you ever get on our company's website and their Facebook comments, people in the comments just light them up. I'm saying, well, you know they can read that, right? And they know your name, right? It's like, yeah, I don't think you have any worry about. But anyway, but
I mean, most of them are probably already fired, anyways.
Yeah, well, that and some of well, not all of them, because I know a few of them. They were comments like, "I work at this department, blah 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 blah. This is what they do." Like, why would you say that?
Yeah,
like but anyway, but no, I mean, yeah,
and I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I looked up the rallies, and without clicking on a unfamiliar site, the answer is I don't know.
Great investigative journaling, brother.
I'm sorry. Hey, I'm not going to risk my phone or my internet browser on a
sketchy website.
Sketchy.
Yeah, because I don't know what's a safe website and what's not.
Hold on, I'll ask Rock.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Aaron, it's got to be better reporting than anything on ABC, CNN, MSNBC. So, you're doing a great job.
I mean, they probably have the firewalls and stuff enough to be able to click on those unsafe sites, but I don't. Okay,
gotta get you VPN, brother.
Yeah.
NordVPN.
With what money, Eric? With what money?
Well, I hear you. I pay it yearly, so I already paid mine this year, but I got you. Moving on a little bit here while Miranda's looking that up here. So the left loves to say things aren't happening when Republicans bring them up, but eventually they start to say, yeah, they're happening, but and the latest example of that is Martha Raddatz on ABC says now that only a handful of apartment complexes have been taken over by Venezuelan gangs in Aurora, Colorado, that we've been talking about here on the channel for the last few weeks. Like a handful actually makes it okay. I mean, JD Vance let her have it here when she said this statement.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's trying to justify like, well, it's only a handful. At first, it was a lie. It just wasn't happening. That's what the left always says. It's a lie. The right wing people, Trump and JD Vance, are lying about this. Even though here we here on the channel have showed you video evidence of it's actually happening. Now it's only a handful. So what's next? It's actually a good thing. That'll be the next line. It's actually a good thing.
I have the answer real quick. Yes, it is free. You can request a ticket on the event page. But also to add to this, did you guys see the story about, was it Fishers? I don't remember, town up north in Indiana.
I heard something was going on in Indiana. Yeah.
There's a school that has like 25 different languages of different kids coming to their school.
Yeah, the schools can't handle that because half the teachers don't speak those languages.
Yeah.
So how do you expect these kids to learn anything? This is why they need to be vetted, and it's got to be in an orderly. Now, I will be the first one to say that the immigration system does need to be corrected. It does need to be fixed. But, and both sides got to get their own head up out of their own asses. I'm not going to lie to you. Both sides. But you can't just let people in either. And I'm not saying nobody gets to come in. Trump's not even saying that, by the way.
Yeah.
Trump's saying just we got to vet you, then we'll let you come in.
And you know what?
But
there was a Mexican farmer the other day. He asked Trump, what are you going to do with all these illegals that are working these jobs that Americans won't work, basically. And he goes, I don't want the people not here, but we need to have accountability. We need to know who you are. We need to know that you're here. These companies that hire the illegals, like Tyson, they're not paying them what they would pay us. They're not getting the same benefits. They're going through a temp agency. They're not even getting full-time employment. So they're getting all these government benefits too. It is absolutely ridiculous that the companies are getting away with it.
Yeah. Well, that they love to hit JD Vance and Donald Trump on the fact that, well, if you deport all the illegals, well, who's going to do the jobs like the pick the crops and things, which, by the way, sounds racist as hell.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I mean, you mean to tell me that American workers would like to have some of those jobs? I mean, so
they don't even get a chance to get them.
No, they don't. They're taking because those the illegals will work for smaller wages. That's the other problem.
And the kickbacks that the company would get. So like
exactly. So
illegals take.
You don't have family farms anymore. You got it all fucking Monsanto and GMO and Bill Gates bullshit anyway. So if you put it back in the hands of the people, you wouldn't need them anyway.
Yeah. But this is the way that conspiracy theories always go, supposedly. Conspiracy theories, right? It's like, that's not happening. It's a lie. Then it's, well, this is kind of happening, but not that much. And then it's like, well, this is why you should think it's a good thing that it's happening. Yeah. That's the way it always goes.
The conspiracy theory was when they asked Trump about QAnon, he said, or she said that the QAnoners said that Trump was going to take down a satanic pedophile ring. And if you look at what's going on right now, she was absolutely right.
Yeah, look at all the Diddy stuff. And more of that's going to come out as we get moving further along here too. What it does, we'll talk about it. There's not, I mean, it's coming. It's definitely coming. But how much longer until the left now finally starts to admit that, oh, Haitians were eating the dogs and cats?
Yeah.
How much longer before they admit that, oh, FEMA did redirect money to take care of illegal immigrants, which is proven, by the way. Which we didn't talk much about the hurricane stuff over the last few weeks, so we weren't here. But here's our friend.
A week before the election.
Yeah. Here's our friend, the older millennial, talking about all these things and how the media loves to lie about all this stuff, too.
It is remarkable the ease with which the mainstream media just lies to the American people. Like, listen to this dumbass from MSNBC speaking to Mike Johnson.
From Election Day, former President Trump continues to make false claims. Let me read you a couple of them. Venezuelan gang members have overrun an apartment complex, he says, in Aurora, Colorado. Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio are eating cats and dogs. FEMA funds have been redirected.
Absolutely none of those claims have been debunked. First off, the Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes in Colorado, that was confirmed. Like, we literally have video of them doing it. And two of the apartment complexes were forced to sell to the Venezuelan gangs at less than 40% of their actual value because the Venezuelan gang was going to fucking kill them. But yeah, that hasn't been debunked. That's been confirmed. Now, when it comes to Springfield, where the Haitian migrants were eating fucking cats and dogs, again, we have fucking video of it. Now, was it as widespread as everybody was making it out to be? Probably not. But were Haitian migrants eating fucking cats and dogs? Abso-fucking-lutely they were. And lastly, the claim that FEMA funds have been redirected to help illegal immigrants. Yeah, we have confirmation of that as well from FEMA. Here's just a little collection of statements directly from FEMA. Department of Homeland Security announces $300 million in additional funding to communities receiving migrants. That was put out by FEMA. Also put out by FEMA, Department of Homeland Security announces distribution of more than $77 million in congressional funding for the communities receiving migrants. FEMA awards $110 million to the Emergency Food and Shelter Program to assist migrants. Also from FEMA. Naming FEMA. Politico says New York City need to get $104.6 million from FEMA for asylum seekers. U.S. Embassy in El Salvador. Department of Homeland Security announces distribution of more than $12 million in funding. And lastly, also from FEMA, Department of Homeland Security announces $300 million in direct funding to communities receiving migrants and $340 million for a new competitive awards process. And this is just a small collection. There's plenty more. So her claims about Aurora, Colorado being debunked, bullshit. Her claims that the Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs has been debunked, bullshit. And her claims that FEMA hasn't sent hundreds of millions of dollars to aid illegal immigrants. Also bullshit. Like, when did the media become so uninterested in reporting the news?
Good question. Probably when their funders started paying them. And when Obama passed that act that said basically propaganda is okay. I mean,
Yep.
you gotta remember that Obama passed a bill that allowed propaganda to be used, which needs to be repealed immediately. There needs to be consequences for these people lying. In relation to that, the Biden-Harris regime has tried to tell us for the past 4 years that crime is down. Well, does everybody remember this during the presidential debate?
Crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But
excuse me, the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst.
So look who was right yet again. Donald Trump. Quietly this week, the FBI adjusted their crime data from 2022. And guess what? It's not down, it's up. So yeah, basically the updated data shows there were 80,029 more violent crimes than in 2021. There were an additional 1,700 murders, 7,780 rapes, 33,000 robberies, and 37,000 aggravated assaults. Instead of being down 2.1%, as the administration and the FBI claimed, it's actually up 4.5%. That's a 6.6 swing compared to what the administration was telling you. Why are people not more livid that the media and this presidency, which includes Kamala Harris, are lying to you? Why are you not mad about that? Can someone explain to me why?
Tell you why, because like they want to believe they've been made to believe that this other dude is so bad. Like I seen this thing today, and it made me mad, but it also made me laugh. The reason why it made me laugh is because it's like, yeah, there's no fucking shot. Like it is what it is with you. Some of these people, like this guy was interviewing people, asked them who they're gonna vote for, Trump or Kamala. The guy answers Kamala, and he goes, "Why?" Arbitrary reason. He gave him speaking points. That was his answer. And he said Trump's a racist, and he goes, "Why is he racist?" Well, I don't know. Can you name one thing that he's done? And he said, "Don't say the fine people hoax because that was bullshit. Doesn't say one other thing because that was bullshit." And the guy just goes, "Well, he just is." And then he just walked off.
Yeah, they can't handle fact, man. You show them, it's just like, oh, it did happen. Of course, they say the same thing about us, but it's
what's the point?
We actually back it up with the facts, though. I mean, that's the thing. They think they got facts, but they don't. Not only that, this is the 2022 ones that were adjusted, which makes many people believe that the facts that they gave out about 2023 are also too low.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be adjusted at some point, too. Again, they did this quietly. They didn't put it out on the news. They didn't put it out on CNN, MSNBC, nothing. They didn't apologize to the Republicans or Donald Trump either, saying, oh, we got that wrong when we said that Donald Trump was lying during the debate and we shouldn't have fact-checked him. No correction, nothing. They didn't do any of that shit. No, but the damage is already done because Donald Trump's already been supposedly fact-checked during the presidential debate. This is why fact-checks are bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Why I get so pissed off at this stuff, because they want you to say, oh, the fact checks what you got to believe. That's the truth of the matter. We did our research. Well, guess what? They knew that this was the case because Trump flat out said the biggest cities weren't telling or they weren't reporting their crimes to the FBI. So that's obviously going to skew it. And the FBI knew that. And the media knew it too. And here's the media. Don't sit there and act like the media didn't know when they reported this. They knew 100% that data was wrong. And here they are lying to your face and laughing about it.
That crime is rising. The facts say it is not. FBI statistics released today show that crime is dropping. Mr. Trump remains fixated on crime, even imaginary crimes.
We have done the work. We have seen violent crimes go down
Yes.
because of the work that this president and this vice president has done.
Joe Biden inherited a rising high crime country. When Joe Biden passes the baton to Kamala Harris, it's a declining.
James Carville, I got something to say about him in a second too.
Mm-hmm.
Which the FBI just updated the numbers to.
The violent crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border.
We see violent crime coming down in this country because of Kamala Harris's leadership.
A huge drop in crime this year. And so the record on crime overall between these two guys, again, is
these are all lies, guys.
People think that crime is up when crime is down
Mayor
under Joe Biden.
Booty Juice.
Now, I don't know how often that gets reported on this network. So if you're watching this at home, do yourself a favor and look up the data.
Crime is down across the country.
Crime is down, Jim. Yeah. This claim is not only not true, it's the opposite of reality. Crime has been falling for 1.5 years plus.
The FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country.
You're lying, Congressman. You're lying.
Again, they take that false data. Yes, what they were saying was true. The FBI is reporting that crime is down. Yes, just because the FBI reported it doesn't make that true. That's the thing. They're using these organizations like the FBI, the CIA. Oh, that's not happening. That's not happening.
The FDA.
Yeah.
It's
just because these places say it's true doesn't make it true.
Yes.
And they will flat out lie to you. And then the media will say, see, Donald Trump's lied to you because this is what the data shows. Well, when the data is skewed, and they know it's skewed, and the people on the right they
just remember what else they skewed: the COVID numbers, the COVID vaccine safety,
Well, just this year alone, the Biden-Harris administration also got caught lying about the job numbers. The Bureau of Labor revised the job numbers, saying they were actually down from what the Harris administration claimed in the last year. They had to revise those down too. They were lying about how many jobs they created, which we knew they were anyway because they were conflating all the jobs that came back after COVID as jobs they created, which was bullshit to begin with. But even the ones they created, they were lying about. And the Bureau of Labor said as much. It doesn't come from Trump. That comes from them. So if you're going to trust the FBI and all their data, why don't you trust the Bureau of Labor? And now the FBI is saying that they're being skewed too. But they just didn't report it in the mainstream news, so never happened. But they have to report it to, keep appearances, I guess. So yeah, they lie about everything, guys. More left-wing lies. I guess a few weeks ago, Kamala Harris also went on CBS's 60 Minutes for an interview. That was just about as bad as the Fox interview.
Oh my God.
But it was so bad that CBS's 60 Minutes also edited the interview to make it look like she was more competent than she actually was. Here's the actual answer that they aired, the actual answer she gave, and at the bottom was the edited answer that they put on.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Now, did you notice that the answer that the edited answer wasn't even anything she said from the original answer? They literally took an answer she gave from something else and put it in here as the answer to that question. That is deceitful and fraud. Flat out. I mean, this is fraud against the American people. They manipulated the interview simply to make her look competent. If Trump did that, it would be a nationwide scandal, national scandal, as it should be. But Kamala, no, it's okay to do that with her to make her look better. By the way, I guess the FCC just announced that they're going to be opening an investigation into CBS for the 60 Minutes interview here, an investigation that'll likely go nowhere as always. But, I mean, when Donald Trump says this stuff, he's not just saying stuff. Oh, Donald Trump's only criticizing the media when they differ from his opinions and stuff that he don't like. No, it's because of this shit. They wouldn't edit him to make him look better. They wouldn't take answers from a completely separate question and put it into a question that he was asked to make him look better.
No,
So
they
why the hell
only do
does she
that
get
to
away
make
with
him
that?
sound. They do it to make him sound worse.
Yeah, they make him sound worse every single time. It's complete opposite here. This is why that she won't do long interviews. She barely goes on Fox.
I'm amazed she does interviews anyway. Like,
Yeah, I mean, did she get surprised when she gets pushback on Fox?
mhm.
But yeah, Mike Johnson was also a victim of this on CBS's Face the Nation as well when he was doing an interview with one of their network anchors.
So that's a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
So that's
Notice how much they take out of his actual answer.
a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. And when I was there on the ground, and you should go, I mean, bring the cameras and talk to the people there. They'll tell you, don't take politicians' words for this or the administration's word. Talk to the people there on the ground. They had not been provided the resources almost 2 weeks out from the storm that they desperately needed. And when I was there, 13 days post the storm hitting that state, people are still being rescued. They're stuck in the higher elevations in the mountains because the roads are down and all the rest. So they need every available resource and all hands on deck. The rescue and recovery efforts still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
So that's a different accounting.
So yeah, again, they're making Mike Johnson look bad here by taking out half of his competent answer. And it's just, this goes beyond a difference of opinion. The left would have you believe that Donald Trump wants to get rid of the media or tear it down because they say opinions that he doesn't agree with. That's not the case at all. What Trump means is this: they straight up falsify information to manipulate people, and this is the very thing that Democrats and the media say that Trump will do, but they themselves are doing it now. And half the country is too blind and stupid to see it. Trump needs to tear down this propaganda machine, and I'm 100% for it when he does it. I hope he does. I mean, because this is completely election interference, completely, like he says it is. And if you can't see that, you're blind. Straight up. Any thoughts on this?
No,
I'm over it. I'm just completely. 17 days from now, if the election is not known, I'm going to scream.
Well, now that our podcasts are back on Friday, we'll probably at least have a podcast the Friday after the election. For the sounds of things, I guess, as long as you guys are available for that. So that'll be interesting to see for sure too. Hopefully, it'll go our way. But at the same time, this is.
I think it's gonna something's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be good. I have. To me, if Trump doesn't win this election, I'm going to lose all faith in what little faith I had left in all of our institutions.
Yeah,
including the election process. Because I mean, if you look at all the data, he's leading bad, big time. I mean, it's not even close. If they somehow try to cheat to make this thing, she was actually stop. They're saying, they're skewed it toward Trump to make it look like so he could actually say that it was stolen. No, he's beating the brakes off of her. It's not even funny.
And I think whatever happens, like, I don't see Biden finishing the term.
I've heard that may be an October surprise, actually. Maybe, But
and the little conversation that he had with Obama the other day,
we're going to talk about in just a second. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Before we get into that, though, there's something I didn't pull up here, but I wanted to mention it too. It was also announced that Donald Trump was going to be doing his last rally will be at Madison Square Garden in New York City, which is a huge venue for a rally, no doubt about it. And of course, being from New York City and all that stuff, it's going to be a big thing. James Carville, that idiot who often makes appearances on Bill Maher, and we saw him in one of those clips a while ago, he made the statement that, you need to look up what happened in 1931 back in or 1939, whatever it was, the rallies that happened at Madison Square Garden, and realize it was all Nazi sympathizer rallies. So just because Donald Trump goes to Madison Square Garden means he's a Nazi. I mean, what? Let's say there was a Nazi, but so if Donald Trump wears the same sneakers that Adolf Hitler wore, he's a Nazi too. Like, what the fuck?
Like, that's stupid as hell.
But this is the left and their lame brain ideas. But anyway, I just thought I'd get that off.
That's wild. That's a wild.
I heard that, and he said I don't remember where he said that or what show he said it on, but it's like, dude, so what?
That's a wild association.
You know what? I'm going to say this real quick. Ever since this Diddy stuff came out and the CEOs of companies started stepping down, Nike CEO stepped down shortly after Diddy went to prison. And I told Brandon, my children have never had a pair of Nikes because I've never liked the company. Ever, just because I've been a conspiracy theorist that long that
well, there's, and if you really think about all these companies are
these people that want to condemn Donald Trump over things have no idea what their idols are guilty of.
Hell, half the CEOs and stuff who are condemned or whatever probably doing the exact same shit, if not worse. Most likely worse than Donald Trump, actually. But it's stories like the CBS, editing stuff and completely manipulating things. That's also why Democrats refuse to go on Fox News whenever they can, because they know that Fox News will not manipulate their interviews. So this week, out of sheer desperation, because really there's no other reason why any Democrat would go on Fox. They rarely ever do it, especially presidential nominees like Kamala Harris. She went out there out of desperation following stinking poll numbers and that disastrous 60 Minutes interview she gave on CBS, even though they edited it. It was still terrible. She went on Fox News and lied repeatedly this week with Bret Baier. She took Trump's quotes out of context, filibustered by rambling so she didn't have to answer any questions, and flat out began to lose it when, for the first time ever, she got pushback on her lies. And I'd argue she didn't get enough pushback from Bret Baier here at all, you ask me. She blamed Trump for the border bill being killed without mentioning it would have codified catch and release, allowed 1.8 million illegals to enter this country before actions at the border can be taken every year, and gave $60 million to Ukraine. She never mentions that when she talks about how Trump killed the border bill. She wouldn't take responsibility for lives lost overseas during her administration. She feigned some, grief and sympathy for the families, but that was about it. She wouldn't say she's sorry for her actions. She says she's sorry for their loss. Big difference. She yelled at Bret Baier while suggesting Trump was unstable and would go after Americans via the military, which, by the way, Donald Trump has never said. He's not said that. What Trump was referring to was corrupt politicians and leftists like Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney, etc., when he stated that there was an enemy within or from within, of which Donald Trump is absolutely correct, by the way. They are an enemy from within. And Trump should absolutely get rid of these traitors when he gets back into office. There, I said it. We'll flat out say it. For too long, these people have gotten away with the worst crimes of treason. This country will not heal until true justice is served. You can call that fascism all you want. It's not fascism. That's giving the power back to the American people, which is why they hate Trump. Fascism is what the current regime wants and is trying to do to keep all the people for themselves, or all the power for themselves, I should say, and we get the scraps. That's what it is.
Yep.
So if you want to watch this whole interview in full, you can find it online. It's about 26 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing here. But here's a quick recap of everything that Kamala Harris was saying on every issue that Bret Baier brought up to her.
Democrats voted against that.
Donald Trump's administration, even that Donald Trump acted. Donald Trump's from the Trump campaign, if Trump would say he did. It's come out of Donald Trump. An individual, he spent $20 million. Donald Trump, if he preferred to run on a problem, he actually has no plan. And again, his policy was his would make them weaker. His plan, Donald Trump,
You've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump and his vice president. He is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous with someone who professes to be a leader, and it being about him. If you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean.
Okay, you get it. Basically, everything he asked her, it was Donald Trump's fault. But Donald Trump, she said his name 57 times in a 26-minute interview.
Oh, God.
That's roughly what? I don't know, not the best math guy, but roughly twice a minute. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, geez, people. So yeah, she blamed Trump for all this stuff. Let's see here. That although was not a tough interview with Bret Baier. Everybody saying, "Oh, she survived a tough interview." It only appeared that way because Harris never gets pushback from the rest of the media. And if you think it was a tough interview, or Bret Baier was being an asshole like Bill Maher thinks he was, Bret Baier was just as tough with Trump when Bret Baier interviewed him. So, cry me a river, liberals. Here's one liberal crying. Like I said, Bill Maher thinks that Bret Baier was being an asshole.
The interview was conducted by Bret Baier. Do you know this guy? I must say, I have him pegged wrong. I'd always heard about him. I don't watch Fox News that much, so I didn't know. I thought he was, they kept saying he was the most legitimate journalist on Fox News. No, actually, he was a huge asshole.
So he goes on to continue to insult Bret Baier there, but why? Because he asked her questions that she couldn't counter. Why?
She couldn't answer.
Yeah, didn't give answers to. She filibustered the whole time, acting like she was giving an answer, but she never actually answered any of his questions. It was all strict scripted talking points that she kept repeating.
So more or less, you're upset because he made the person that you're hitching your fucking horse to look like everybody knows she is a fucking dullard.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Even if it was a tough interview, let's say it was. Welcome to how the media treats Donald Trump every time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I fumbled over my words. Every single journalist does this to Donald Trump, and you all praise it. The problem is the left thinks when it happens to Trump, he's being fact-checked for his lies, when in fact it's the opposite. Trump tells the verifiable truth like he did during the presidential debate earlier, and they say that he's lying. And when Kamala gets told the truth, Brett Baer is the asshole. So here's what Brett Baer said about the interview after it was over.
You know, when the kicker in football, they call a timeout right before he's going to kick the field goal. They're icing the kicker. So we were supposed to start at 5 p.m. This was the time they gave us. Originally, we were going to do 25 or 30 minutes. They came in and said, well, maybe 20. So it was already getting whittled down. And then the vice president showed up about 5:15. We were pushing the envelope to be able to turn it around for the top of the 6 o'clock. So that's how it started. And I could tell when we started talking that she was going to be tough to redirect without me trying to interrupt. I did this with President Obama. At one point, I just said, Mr. President, I know you like the filibuster. I just didn't even have the chance to sometimes redirect in those ways.
So I guess it's a Democrat strategy. Obama did it. Joe Biden did it. Kamala's now doing it. He also goes on and talks about how her handlers were trying to cut the interview short.
Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So Martha, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, are you serious? I mean, she showed up late. They had to get this on the air by 6. She was supposed to be there at 5. She showed up late, obviously probably trying to avoid as much of this as possible. And then when she got on there, it was going down like the Hindenburg or the Titanic. Her handlers go, we got to go. We just got to stop. It didn't matter. I mean,
and then the other day when Trump did Bongino,
yeah,
did you see that they gave him shit because he went over his time?
Yeah,
and the guy said, Trump said, okay, we're gonna have to get going because they're yelling at me. He's got other things he's doing.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Kamala's response to that here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So but you're right. They're right on the number there. Only to liberals is Fox News not reliable or reputable. But to the rest of the world, they are far closer to the truth than the rest of the media. And it shows. Just look at the ratings. Fox News blows every other media news outlet out of the water at ratings. So if you don't like them, fine. But no one's watching CNN or MSNBC or NBC. They're just not. I mean, Fox, say what you want. They're the ones who get the eyeballs because they're the ones closer to the truth than not. Are they perfect? No. But they're definitely not just propagandists like the rest of the leftist media.
It's taken everything I have not to knock on these people's doors that have Harris signs in their yards that I see around here. There's a few, not many, but enough to make me wonder why.
All things considered, Brett Baer, I thought, did a decent job. I wish he would have pushed back more on some things, but all things considered, he pushed back on more than I thought he was going to do because he's not the first choice that I've got from Fox News. What, Aaron?
You can ask why. They won't have an answer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they won't have an answer.
They never do.
Yeah.
Here's our friend over there at the Older Millennial and his response to this Fox interview that was a debacle.
Kamala Harris's interview with Brett Baer was one of the greatest political mistakes I've ever seen a candidate make. It was so fucking bad. There are a million different clips to make videos about, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to make a lot of them. But this one right here, this is by far my favorite.
People are exhausted.
70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about?
What does that got to do with anything?
With anything? The worst part is she probably thought that was a good answer. He points out that nearly 80% of this country thinks we're on the wrong track. And Brett Baer also points out that she's been vice president for the last 3.5 years. And her response is, well, Donald Trump's been running for president. So fucking what? Yes, he's been running for office, which means he's been a private citizen. And you've been in power, you dumb bitch.
And all they've done is try to put him in jail.
She was on
not fix the fucking country.
CNN or ABC because she said this.
Person holding the office. Come on. Madam Vice President. Both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about. I actually don't. What are you talking about?
She was expecting him to go, yes, Madam Vice President, we do understand what you're talking about. Brett Baer isn't paid by the DNC. So no, he's not going to fake like he knows what the fuck you're talking about. Because nobody knows what you're talking about, dumbass. This woman is fucking stupid. She is a fucking idiot. And the worst part is she's the best the Democrats have.
Yeah, think about that. I mean, she did, well, while blaming Donald Trump throughout this whole interview, though, Kamala did say something I found interesting. She said, quote, you have to take responsibility for what happened during your administration. You believe that shit?
Hold up real quick.
Yeah.
So I once saw a thing on TikTok. It was a guy debating. Hold on. Give me a second. No, shh. Give me a second. Okay. It was on TikTok, and it was a guy who was debating like Republican people, and he was a very Democrat, right? Mm-hmm. And he said in his thing that Biden and Harris could not do much with their policies while they're president because Trump signed a bunch of policies that would not go away until 2025. Oh. And I was like, wait a minute, don't new presidents veto previous presidents' bills and stuff all the time?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that?
Because they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and now they're caught on it. And we couldn't have done anything because we couldn't because no, you could have. We can't close the border. Hell yeah, you could.
Yeah.
But they won't, or they could. Or,
the reason it's open is because they vetoed Trump's.
Yeah. Like, what was it? 50-some executive orders or something like that?
Yeah. It was a astronomical number.
They say Trump's the reason why it's open. Bitch, no. It's like, sorry. I'm sorry. It's not the way this works. But that's the whole reason they say, oh, well, the reason why the Afghanistan withdrawal happens because of the way Trump planned it. You reversed everything else. You couldn't reverse that one? Sorry. No, I don't buy it. I just don't. But yeah, so she said that you have to take responsibility for what happened during your administration. Well, here's a montage of all the times she has not taken responsibility for her and Biden's administration. Fucking lying hypocrite bitch.
President Biden's decision to pull the U.S. out of Afghanistan led to the collapse of its government, its military, the death of 13 Americans, and it left tens of thousands of Afghans hoping to escape. It is one of the darkest moments of the Biden presidency.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
As president, Trump severely restricted asylum and required migrants to await their court hearings in Mexico. When President Biden took office, he reversed those policies.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
New numbers confirming what we already know. Inflation is skyrocketing, reaching a 41-year high.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
The pain at the pump hitting Americans in the pocketbook. Gas prices reaching a record high, an average of $4.17 a gallon.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the largest invasion of a neighboring country in Europe since World War II.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Breaking news tonight on that Chinese spy balloon. U.S. intelligence watched the high-flying airship as it lifted off near China's south coast. That means the U.S. military had been tracking it for nearly a week.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
The scenes this morning across Israel were chaotic, unprecedented, and terrifying. One of America's closest allies attacked and now at war.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Doesn't matter if you heat your home with heating oil, gas, or electricity, you're going to pay more to stay warm this winter.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Look at that smug smile. That's that one there. It's like every time she says that, it's like she thinks it's a gotcha, but she doesn't understand that she's basically telling on herself here. You got to take responsibility for what happened in your administration.
She's not even saying responsibility. She's saying you got to take
responsible. I heard
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
it was
she didn't
really
even say it right.
It was throwing me off.
Yeah, I know, but that's what she was trying to say. But yeah. So with that being said, is she done after this?
I fucking hope so.
I mean, not only after the Fox interview this last week, this is the poly market betting averages, or the betting odds, I should say. Following this, Donald Trump was already at 57%. He went up another 5%. I think it has come down a little to 60% as of right now. But yeah, it's basically 60, 39, 62, 38. Yeah. So at this point, this is where people are placing actual money on who's going to win. Not only that, all the swing states, now Donald Trump is leading in the betting odds in every single one, including Nevada now, which was not the case before this interview.
I can't remember what day it was, but I think it was yesterday. Somebody put 500,000 on Kamala on the betting market.
Well, if you could afford to lose it, and it turned out that she actually were to win somehow, you would make bank.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd probably be set for life if you put down you got $500,000 just to throw on a bet. Damn.
But like I said, they're already saying the machines are messing up.
I know.
In
multiple states now. It was Georgia, Michigan, and Texas. They're saying that some of these machines are already clicking votes.
If there's fraud, then what the fuck are we gonna do?
Hopefully, there will be too big to rig, as Trump has been saying. Otherwise, you think it's going to be bad if Trump wins, it's going to be bad because the left will not allow this. They think Hitler's just won and they're going to go nuts.
Well, I think with him announcing what he plans on doing with the illegals, I just want to know if they're going to start something.
I don't know. They very well could. I mean, what do they got to lose in that case,
Yeah.
So I don't know. You might be right.
They're like pawns to the left.
Yeah, the left don't give a crap about what happens to them. They don't. I don't know.
I mean,
they do.
JD Vance said that their main focus are the criminal illegals at first.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's right. Yeah, you get them out first. Yeah, I agree with that. So,
but I mean, there's enough gang members to do shit in these bigger cities.
Oh yeah,
that is true. Yeah.
Hopefully it stays that way.
And if they go to the polls or whatever and start riots.
Yeah. Well, shoot, we didn't even talk about. There was an Afghan national who was caught recently, like a couple weeks ago, who was plotting a mass terrorist attack, basically on election day.
Yeah.
At poll places. So it might be a good idea to vote early. That's what Trump's been saying anyway, in case there's machines get broken. I think in Indiana we do paper ballots, so it might not be as big of a thing when it comes to the machines. But at the same time, maybe whether they're tallying them the right way is another question. But yeah, when it comes to safety, maybe voting early is the right way to do it too, because that way we all terrorists don't know what day you're going on. But
yeah, I've been thinking about doing that.
Yeah, hopefully that don't happen. But yeah, I've thought about it if I can find a way to do it. So we'll see what happens. But supposedly even Barack Obama and Joe Biden thinks that Kamala may be done. While at the Ethel Kennedy funeral service, Barack Obama and Joe Biden were videotaped having a conversation. You can't hear them, but the New York Post hired a professional lip reader to determine what was being said here. And apparently President Obama griped to former President Barack Obama that she is not as strong as me, with Obama agreeing that's true. And but he also said we have time, and Biden said yes, we'll get it in time. So you can't really, like I said, hear anything. I don't know if you can read their lips or anything, but supposedly that's what was being said, according to a professional lip reader who had been working for 16 years and served at the University College of London. He was a certified expert for this. So, yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder what was actually being said between these two here. They obviously don't look thrilled. And this was earlier in the day before she gave the Fox interview. So imagine what they feel like now. So obviously interesting that Bill Clinton's also standing there as well. Of course, there are a lot of people online who took this as an opportunity to have a little fun. So let's check this out.
Wait, you don't have my crackers? Nope. I think they're gone. Oh. Maybe we can get a nice chocolate milk? Yeah, when we're through. I mean, I won't go out like to a place, but remember when I caught a big earwig? That's a great bench.
Yeah. That was a great bench, Joe. I'm telling you. Very astute. There was some of them even had Joe Biden, or I'm sorry, Bill Clinton kind of chimed in at the end. They're like, "Hey, she's pretty," or something like that, But anyway, there's a lot of creative ones out there. I just thought I'd play one, but yeah, who knows what those two are up to behind closed doors. So the Democrats' new tactic, since they are flailing and have nothing else, they are trying to now say that Donald Trump is too old and unhealthy. This coming from the same party who said they were transparent about Joe Biden's mental faculties. Joe Biden, the man who is old and unhealthy. Kristen Welker from NBC and Democrats are now demanding that Trump release his cholesterol levels.
Speaker, that's what people are going to vote on. Just to be very clear, he hasn't released all of his medical records. He released 2 letters. Should he release the results of the cognitive test?
He's on display every minute.
So it's unnecessary. You can see that he didn't release his medical records. You don't want to know things like his cholesterol level, whether he's dealing with any issue that we may not know about, if he's going to be commander-in-chief. And he also said he would release cognitive tests.
Listen to your question.
Should he release that?
The American people, Kristen, the American people don't care.
They weren't pressing Joe Biden on none of that shit. Why now all of a sudden, you think? Because this is all they got.
Because Kamala released hers, remember? It was a big deal.
And they also wanted Trump to release his tax returns. They went on and on about that, and he finally did. Guess what? It was in Trump's favor.
Kamala didn't release hers.
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Anyway, it's recent desperation. I'm sorry, it just does. So what? I watched the man. He's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't believe your lying eyes, apparently. Kamala claims that Trump is exhausted, as Miranda mentioned before, and that's why he's canceling events, so to speak. Yet today at a rally, she spoke for a whole 7 minutes and then left. But Trump's the exhausted one, while giving hours on stage at his rallies. So here's her claiming that he's exhausted.
In addition, I've been hearing reports that his team at least is saying he's suffering from exhaustion. And that's apparently the excuse for why he's not doing interviews. And of course, he's not doing the CNN
not doing interviews, my ass.
To do another debate. And, look.
He's not doing another debate, and he's not doing town halls, because every time he does, you guys rig it so where he has to debate the moderators too. That's why, you dumb bitch. I swear.
But he is doing town halls and interviews. He's out there every day doing something.
Yeah, just not with her. That's what she's
do a debate on Fox and he'll show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
Here we go.
Where were you on the Fox debates, Camilla? Really?
Yeah. So, not to mention, when you look at the numbers, Kamala, of course, wouldn't be exhausted because she isn't doing half of what Trump is doing. And it won't as president either, as a matter of fact. She won't be doing half of what he'd do either. Trump's not doing some of those, as we said. Why would he do things if you're just going to rig it against him? Why would he? But media interviews since becoming the nominee, Donald Trump has done 59. Kamala Harris has done 26 since Kamala became the nominee. Press conferences since becoming the nominee, Trump has done 6. Kamala has done 0. Total campaign events in the month of September, Trump has done 21. Kamala has done 13. Easily twice as much. That's what she's doing in all categories. But yet, he's exhausted. Of course, she wouldn't be exhausted. She's not doing anything. So here's Trump finally getting home after a 17-hour day. Let me repeat that. 17-hour day. After going on Fox and Friends at 8 a.m., doing Dan Bongino's show, flying to Michigan, meeting with multiple local groups, visiting Trump Force 47 headquarters, holding a full rally in Detroit, Michigan, and then flying all the way back to New York City. This is him finally getting off the plane at midnight. So, hell,
I want to know where he gets all his energy, honestly.
For real.
Hell,
even if he was exhausted, he probably is. He earned his rest.
But he only sleeps like 4 hours a night, if that.
The man is entitled to get exhausted. I mean, as much as he is doing, he should be. By the way, that thing, he earned his rest, earning something that missed 0 votes in the primary wouldn't know anything about. As Jim Gaffigan pointed out this week at the Al Smith Catholic Charity Dinner, pointed out that she didn't receive any votes in the primary, and basically the Democrats pulled a coup on Joe Biden.
The Democrats have been telling us Trump's reelection is a threat to democracy. In fact, they were so concerned of this threat They staged a coup, ousted their democratically elected incumbent, and installed Kamala Harris. In other words, all her dreams have come true. Really? It really makes you consider the power of prayer, right, Cardinal? Sometimes prayers take 3.5 years and a George Clooney op-ed. Yeah.
That's wild.
Now, this is a leftist Jim Gaffigan who's been playing Tim Walz on Saturday Night Live as of late. Interesting, though, that the way this charity dinner set up, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this dinner in a second, how you got all these Democrats and Republicans in the same room. Donald Trump and Melania right here on the right. You got Chuck Schumer off to the right of the speaker. And up here on the left, you got Letitia James, who's trying to throw Donald Trump in jail right now.
Yeah, like, I don't get that. This is where I couldn't
sit in the room with him.
No. And I don't know how or why.
Because Trump is actually trying to get unity.
Yeah. But this part of the story, I don't like.
I wouldn't do it.
I couldn't, like, these are jokes, but they're real.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth in it.
All of these people are laughing about it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
This is big talk coming from Kamala Harris talking about how he's too exhausted and he won't show up to stuff because Kamala Harris didn't show up to this dinner. This dinner, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's the Al Smith Catholic charity dinners, basically. It's something every presidential candidate has showed up for the last 40 years. And the last one who did not show up for this dinner lost 49 states in the election, and that was Walter Mondale versus Ronald Reagan. It's a dinner where both sides of the political aisle are supposed to come together and show unity and have fun trading shots at one another, kind of like a Comedy Central roast. Trump has done this before and is most notably remembered for roasting Hillary Clinton back in 2016. Kamala, though, felt it was unnecessary to show up. She instead sent in a very cringeworthy video of her and Molly Shannon's even more cringe Catholic character from Saturday Night Live, Mary Catherine Gallagher. So I'm going to play a little bit of this just so you get an idea of how cringe this is.
Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Gallagher. Mary Catherine Gallagher. As soon as
I always hated this
Very
character.
nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now, I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I smell them like that.
That was her trademark gimmick, smelling the armpit shit. Yeah, this was terrible. I mean, no doubt about it here.
Did she say she was proud to be a part of something she wasn't at?
Yeah, exactly. So proud, apparently, she couldn't take the time to show up, apparently. So, yeah. Not only that, Kamala wrote, or one of her campaign people here, a rapid response director, Amar Massa, put out a statement on behalf of Kamala Harris, basically crapping on Donald Trump and his speech, because obviously Donald Trump basically, put the screws to her, so to speak, here, and actually told the truth. Well, for comedy, of course. But at least Donald Trump showed up, unlike you, Kamala Harris. And anyone who actually watched Trump's whole speech knows that everything that the Harris campaign has stated right here is completely ridiculous and false. I mean, they basically talked about how he was long, incomprehensible rambling. He was blaming the fact that he couldn't use a teleprompter, blah, 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 blah. I mean, petty bullshit, if you ask me. But here is some highlights from Donald
Basically,
Trump.
what they're doing is they are projecting what happened to Biden, like legitimate, factual, medical things that have happened to him, and they're projecting those things onto Trump.
Yeah, because Kamala's the young one, even though she's almost 60. She may be 60 now, which isn't much younger. Yes, she's younger than 78, sure, but it's not like, come on, this dog isn't going to hunt, so to speak. So here's some of the best moments of Trump's speech. We're actually, we're pretty funny, hilarious. He takes some shots at the Democrats and Kamala Harris for comedy, of course.
My opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful to the event and in particular to our great Catholic community. Very disrespectful. I understand the real reason that she's not here is she's hunting with her running mate. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here guaranteed. I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner, I'd really hope that you would come because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy. If the Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president. I hear that Kamala and her husband carve out some really beautiful alone time at the end of the day for an intimate dinner, just Doug, her, and the teleprompter that she uses quite well. But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. I used to think that Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walz. Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas. Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time and they shoot. Thank you very much and God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So at least he was a good sport and showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, like I said, the last person who did show up lost 49 states in the election. So hopefully that happens again to Kamala Harris, if you ask me. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and by the way, I want to point out something here too. If the Democrats actually believed what they say about Donald Trump, that he's Adolf Hitler and he's like going to, be a dictator, going to, have a genocide or whatever it was they say, there's no way in hell they'd be sitting here having dinner with the man. Stop believing the BS. I mean, it's just so stupid, guys. So 2 days later, after skipping this Catholic charity event, keep that in mind, Kamala Harris apparently told some people at her rally who yelled out, "Christ is King and Jesus is Lord," that they're at the wrong rally while addressing the abortion issue. I'm going to play a couple videos from this, so see if you can kind of hear it. They kind of try to isolate a little bit. It's a little hard to hear in the first video.
With the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended.
There it was.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Oh, yay. She got him.
No,
poor boss.
I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
The fact that she thinks that her rallies are bigger than Trump's, by the way, is laughable. Anybody who's ever actually seen a Trump
First
rally.
of all, the fact that she's talking like that is wild.
Yeah. Which at first I thought, okay, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt at first. She maybe didn't hear what the heckler said. But after watching this next video, I'm all but certain she knew exactly what the heckler said when the heckler said, "Christ is King and Jesus is Lord." Listen. We'll play it one more time. It's clear as day what the heckler said.
Well, remember what I said about the satanic
Yep.
pedophile ring.
Exactly. Are you okay with this, Christians? Because I know I'm not. I guess Kamala Harris forgot that the United States of America is one nation under God. Of course, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if you're voting for Democrats and claim to be a Christian, I highly recommend you should probably take a long, hard look at your faith. Because what Democrats stand for absolutely does not align with the word of God, despite what you may believe and despite what they tell you. You cannot vote for a political party that believes the way the Democrats do and be a Bible-believing Christian. Period. You can think that's controversial, but at the end of the day, if you're mad at me for saying that, you're actually mad at God, not me. You want more proof about that? Kamala Harris, that she doesn't care about the Christian faith? Here you go. Here's her saying that we should be saying Merry Christmas.
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
Now, regardless of whatever circumstance she is referring to here, no matter what is happening in the world, we should absolutely say Merry Christmas. Sorry, Kamala. Videos like these, last few that I've shown, show her true colors are coming out now. I mean, you don't have to like it at all. I will speak the words Merry Christmas and will not denounce the name of Christ, ever. If you vote for Kamala Harris, I'm sorry to say, but you lack what the Bible calls discernment. Trump may not be perfect, but because none of us are actually, but there's a huge difference between not being perfect while acknowledging you need a savior and not being perfect and denying your need for a savior at all. You may hate Trump, but at least he's openly talking about the only one that truly matters and the only one who can save America and the world.
You still need help from the boss. We need help from the boss. That's what happened. We need help. All right? Yeah, we need help. It's all right to say it. Now, they'll criticize me for that. How dare he say that? How dare he say that? No, I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. Somebody said to me the other day, you're the most famous person in the world by far. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. They said, yes, you are. I said, no. They said, who's more famous? I said, Jesus Christ.
So, yeah. I mean, with that, I'm done. But, yeah, I mean, I just think it's ridiculous that, you know, these people criticize him. But as Kamala put it during her Fox interview, that's like throwing a stone while living in a glass house. So, yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I can't wait. I think I'm going to look into this whole earlier voting thing.
Yeah.
It's comical, but it's also sad. It's like, do you hear her? I equated to a conversation I had with somebody at work. Something that was said, and I literally was like, I want you to repeat what you just said and listen to it. And then after that, realized how dumb that shit was when you said it to me.
What did they? Should I ask what they said?
Nah, don't
Probably.
worry about it. I'll
Okay.
tell you
Okay.
all later.
All right, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, like I said, when I originally heard that first video there of her, you know, say that to a rallier who said Christ is King and Jesus is Lord, I thought that maybe she just heard hecklers. But it was awful quiet outside of the one person who yelled Christ is King and Jesus is Lord. That's what she said. You're at the wrong rally.
Yep.
I'm sorry. It's just the way it is to be. So where'd Miranda go? But anyway.
I think the dog's outside.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. You got any final thoughts, Aaron?
Nope. I think I'm good tonight.
Good tonight.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess if that's all for the night, I guess we'll probably wrap it up here for our first show here on Rumble, as well as on the channel here on YouTube. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We've definitely got some more shows coming your way, probably going to be on Friday nights moving forward for the foreseeable future anyway, until we say otherwise. But please hit that like, hit subscribe, and don't forget to comment below. Let us know what you guys think. Hit the follow button here on Rumble as well. And hope you guys enjoy the show. Like I said, if you guys got any, requests or, suggestions what we can do to make the show better, by all means, we'd love to hear those as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I guess we'll just head out of here for the night. So, yeah, I guess if there's nothing else to say, we'll just do that. So we'll just call it a night. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess we'll see you next Friday. Later.
See you Friday.
Later.